You tried and won't again. No, I'll be slow to mend. The guys to start a trend. Tell me you're the one it's you are. You don't know nothing about me. Way too good at without me. Good at being someone I'm not. Love, girl, you never said it. Oh, you so independent. Growing since you're letting me ride.
The Seattle Mariners are not the team of destiny. They never have been, and I don't know if they ever will be. But a team of great stories, great narratives, great players, they still have a lot of chances to become something special. And I think that right now we're looking at a roster and a team that is more interesting than they've been for many years. The Mariners have never reached the mountaintop. Now, that from a wins perspective, because from a story and narrative perspective, they've reached some heights that many organizations never have. From having some of the greatest players of all time on their roster, they also hold the wins record in Major League Baseball. They have several players who are Hall of Famers, and several players that should be Hall of Famers in the future. No matter what we look at it, the Mariners are a really fun team, and just last year we rebuilt them with this in mind, looking for the next great Mariner, the next great era of this team. Much of this was inspired from the Dorktown Seattle Mariners series, which I would recommend to watch 100% all the time. Such a good series. We built around Julio Rodriguez with the idea that he was going to be the next great Seattle Mariner in the footsteps of Ken Griffey Jr., Ichiro, all of that. And that's a really, really high bar to hold a player to. Now, he has not played at that level this year. Even much of last year, he didn't play at that level that we originally kind of expected him to be when he made it to the major leagues. And really outperformed what everybody expected. He's still a phenomenal player, but he's not Ken Griffey Jr. He's not Ichiro. He's just Julio. But when we did that, we missed out on what they've really come to be. To see some of the great players they have built under our noses. This year we have Cal Raleigh, who is putting together one of the greatest catching seasons of all time. Looking at possibly an MVP at the catcher position. He was on the roster last year, but we didn't expect him to be just as good as he has been this year. George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Bryan Woo, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, Emerson Hancock. So many pitchers. We're not even mentioning the prospect they just drafted, Kade Anderson, who might be the best pitcher in the entire Major League Baseball draft this past year at pick 3. They have built a phenomenal pitching staff to go on top of the 2 young pieces they have as a core part of their roster. And after a trade deadline acquired them 2 corner infield pieces in Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks, this team has some power, they have some pop, and they have some intrigue when it comes to a team that could really compete for a World Series this year. Makes it interesting because I generally don't rebuild teams that are this ready to be done together. But I don't necessarily know if this is going to be a team that is going to be able to withhold and stand up to this for a long period of time. Because outside of Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, maybe Randy Arozarena, they don't have a whole lot of guys who I think are prospects that are really interesting bats. If we look a few years down the road, maybe Lazaro Montes will be interesting, or Ryan Bliss, or Cole Young, or Felnine Celestin, or I think a big one being Harry Ford, a guy that a lot of people expect to be pretty good in the future. They might not actually have a good lineup to go around. We'll see what it ends up being, but today I really want to get into this rebuild with this idea of, can we build this team to be not a solo shot, not a singular guys team like we thought we were going to be doing in the future. We thought this team was going to be a one-man show of Julio Rodriguez back in MLB 24 when we did this 1 year ago. Instead, this could be a super team in the waiting. How we do that is going to be based on spending the right money, investing in the right assets, and hoping that Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez can do their job offensively to just uphold while we build a team. And so today we're going to get into this rebuild where we are going to be focusing on one of the first teams post-trade deadline, probably the better of the two that we're really going to focus on a lot, Twins and Mariners. And we're going to rebuild them and try to focus on building basically a core. How can we turn this team into a dynasty and turn these players into the notable pillars of the Seattle Mariners history, just like Ken Griffey Jr., Ichiro, Felix Hernandez, Randy Johnson? Are we able to do that? Are we able to see success out of some of the young prospects that we want to see come up and play well? All of that is to be seen. Today we're going to be starting in year one with the Mariners, hoping that we can find a nice asset to build on top of the pitching staff that we have and see what we can do going into a season where really they might be able to make their first ever World Series. Before we begin, I want to remind you, I am using a modified version of a roster that I found. I believe it was like Bobby's Rosters V2. I modified it for my own. I uploaded this into the vaults. I generally do this for every rebuild. So if you're ever looking to do and follow any of these rebuilds that I'm doing, I have my own rosters for you to be able to use as well. I see a lot of questions, even if I put the thing in the description. So I want to make sure that you guys know that I have the rosters there. We are going to be getting into this. A lot of challenges. This should be a pretty long one because I want to make sure that we are not just going for a World Series. The trophy doesn't mean anything. It's more about telling a great story here in Seattle. And what can we make of these guys? Because we've already told great stories. And I'm gonna say this from my perspective. I seriously recommend you, if you're a Mariners fan and you have not seen it, go back to our MLB 24 video to watch the Julio Rodriguez rebuild, because we're not doing that today specifically because I don't think it can be topped. So we're going to get into today and hopefully build a good team around him, not just a one-man show. I suppose I'm probably forgetting one thing, and I think that's a series of challenges. Now, this team is going to be really easy to rebuild because there's really not much to it, right? It already has a great pitching staff. There's already great core pillars to the roster. So how are we going to make this team more interesting? I think what we're going to try to do to make this a little bit more fun is the Mariners in the past have really done their best with homegrown talent. Yes, I know that they've gotten some guys that have been key pieces. When you look at the 2001 roster, a lot of those guys were acquisitions. Robinson Cano, I mean, a few other pieces like that. But really the core pillars of the Mariners are homegrown. So to issue ourselves a challenge, I want to make sure that we are spending very little in free agency. I will allow myself to get a few free agents, maybe 1-year deals, 2-year deals for guys who are in their late 30s to add to the team, but I don't want to necessarily be spending big money all the time on free agency. We want to make a homegrown team. And I think with that, another piece is we need to try to retain all of our pitching. Kirby, Gilbert, Woo, Miller, I can't pronounce Jurrangelo Cjintje's name, the switch pitcher. Then also, Kade Anderson and a couple other guys that we have that are a little bit younger. We need to be able to build around these guys, these pitchers, these players that we have in our roster, and develop them more than anything, more than allowing ourselves to go out in free agency and just pick up guys that I think are going to be great assets. So I want to have probably one of the most expensive pitching staffs ever. We want to have the top pitching staff and invest in all this too. Generally want to be leading the league in saves with my closer. We're going to spend very minimal in free agency, and we want to make sure to see if we can get Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, one of those two guys, if not one of the pitchers, an MVP on top of it. Because if the pitchers get one, then they have a Cy Young too. But I really want to have that fun. I want to make sure that we are building a core piece. Also, let's hope that one of the guys that we draft can develop and become another key pillar to this team as Raleigh gets older and all that. So that way it's not just two guys with bats on the roster. A couple weeks into the season, we find ourselves actually 4th in pitching. But if you look at it, Gilbert 242, Woo 242, Kirby with the 245. I think we're actually probably one of the best. Our bullpen's pretty bad. So if we're going to make any moves, once we get to the deadline, it's going to be bullpen arms trying to improve, I think. Because this pitching staff at the top end is phenomenal. We have a very, very good team. It's not anything to say like we really need to get and hit big on this draft, so we're not going to try to. I don't really think I'm going to go big for big swings or anything. And you're going to see that a lot, I think, in this rebuild, because I think we have a good core when it comes to the pitching staff, and we already have two main pillars. We're just going to try to make sure that we are hitting on the few picks, seeing if we can get some guys to be good, some guys to be complementary to our pieces. But I say that as if this draft is not absolutely stacked. We have, with our first pick, we have pick 3. There are 2 guys near the top of the board who I think could both be generational. One who I almost think is a guarantee. That is Enrique Perez, 6'4" center fielder out of Mexico with great bat, 84 to 99 potential, 66 to 81 overall. Probably a generational talent. And if he's not there, there's also catcher Damian Milligan, who is also 18 years old, 6'2", 84 to 99 potential, 63 to 78 overall with a great bat. The funny thing is, we already have a center fielder and a catcher. So we're taking best player available. And with the Nationals and Angels taking 2 top pitchers in Chris Francisco and Aldo Vargas, we have the option of both, either Perez or Milligan. Now, I do think that Perez is probably the better player. I think Milligan has the better bat. So we are definitely going to go with Perez. I just wanted to show, because I haven't really had an opportunity to see 2 guys that are this good, both high schoolers. And we already have Harry Ford too. I'll be curious what's available with our second first-round pick, but Enrique Perez will be a fantastic guy to put alongside Julio in the outfield. At the All-Star break, I do believe we're pretty firmly in good position to end up making the playoffs. Not just because I think we're leading our division, which we are only 5 games up on the Astros, but the run differential difference is the big piece here, where they only have a small, like 17 run difference. We are over 100, which means that we are just a considerably better team than I think Houston is, even with the A's winning 10 games in a row, by the way. Interesting for them to be catching up there. But I'm pretty confident in this team. I think we might make some bullpen moves, and then I think this is a team that's got a shot to win the whole thing. And a lot of that is led by, we just have a fantastic team all around. Several All-Stars, 2 starting pitchers, Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, both All-Stars, 293 right now for Gilbert, and a 285 for Kirby this far into the season. We also have a reliever, Andres Munoz. Our closer is leading the way there. He's got 42 strikeouts, 2.61 ERA. I don't think he's going to be getting reliever of the year at any point. He's got probably too many losses. But, 5 blown saves. Probably not a good shot at him getting a reliever of the year, but he could get up to around 50 saves if we do win over 100 games this year. And then we have Cal Raleigh, who is at 25 homers, 285 average right now. So technically worse than he is in real life. But still, very, very good season for him so far. We're getting that countered with Julio, who is way better than he was in real life. 309 average with 20 homers, 71 RBIs, and 10 stolen bases so far on this season. Julio has been great. So the guys that we want to be good are good. And I think we have a closer. So the benefit of that is free agents-wise or trade deadline-wise, we don't have to spend a lot. We just got to find a few relievers and don't pay what the Mets paid for Rodgers, really. The bullpen arm that we are going to get is going to be Dennis Santana of the Pirates. He hasn't been, he's been good, but they have not been good this year. They are one of the worst teams in the NL. And so it makes sense to me to get him as a potential, setup man. We're going to give up Ben Williamson in this deal. We're also going to acquire one more. We're going to acquire Andrew Nardi, who did get blown up in his last game against the Padres, but otherwise has been pretty good this year. And he's not going to cost me anything. So I'd say we got our mojo back. We found a generational talent in Enrique Perez, 99 potential, 80 overall at the top end. I just had to get the monkey off my back. For those of you who are not aware, in the Nationals rebuild, we finally found our next Alexis Trujillo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, the channel lore at this point. We finally have a huge draft here. Alfredo Francisco was a great pick. Next one. A little older, 57 overall, but he's got a good bat, so that'll be interesting. Tomas Fuentes was actually a catcher that I thought he was supposed to go in the first round. He was still there in the second round, and I was like, I gotta just grab him. I don't need a catcher, but why not? 94 potential, 62 overall, great bat. This dude's gonna be great. Look, we just had to develop this class. Russ Ryder was the worst guy here, and he was actually projected one of the highest of all the guys on this board. I had him on my board, non-ranked, but whatever. 86 potential from Fabregas, 47 overall. We'll never reach that. And then 2 relievers I took some swings at. Doug McMahon, nah. And Johnny Irvine, not good. So, not that bad to take those swings. Actually, we should look at what Milligan is. Milligan is very good. He goes to the Blue Jays, interestingly enough, who already have Alejandro Kirk. Great bat, 93 potential. The guy that I had 4th on my board is actually kind of better. Cesar Macias from Venezuela. 96 potential, 68 overall for Baltimore. With 1 month to go, we are 6 games or 6.5 ahead of the Rangers, with a positive run differential that is significantly better than the rest of them. Better offense and better pitching staff. We should have a good chance of just holding on to this spot at 81 and 56. And when we look at the wild card, we are plenty ahead. 12 games ahead of the Rays, who are the next team up to bat. It's crazy to see like the Twins are right here. Interesting flip, I think, when you consider all the moves that were made at the deadline. So we should be in a pretty good shape. I don't think we're going to be the top pitching staff this year, so we're not going to meet that goal. The Rays are just phenomenal in their pitching staff, and I think the Phillies are too. So we're not going to be able to do that, but we should be able to be a playoff team this year. And we'll see if Cal Raleigh can get the MVP that I think he might be able to get in real life. Maybe we'll be able to match that here. We end the season 99 and 63. Don't break the 100 wins that I was hoping that we would have after a good start. But we do end up winning our division, and we will be taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game. We do have an award winner. That is Cal Raleigh, who gets the Hank Aaron Award this year. No MVP for him. Instead, that goes to Brent Rooker, who hit 52 homers for the A's, 118 RBIs, hit 290 on the season for Rooker. Jose Ramirez in second in the AL, 267 with 44 homers, 130 RBIs, and Cal was third. I think realistically, when you know the actual value of the defense that they play, Cal would have likely, in a real situation, probably been the MVP, hitting 47 home runs while playing catcher. But I don't think that I don't think the game values that. So Cal does finish third in the MVP. When it comes to the Cy Young, Grayson Rodriguez wins that, 2.75 ERA with 182 strikeouts. Logan Gilbert was second in that race, though there's a good chance. I mean, it is Rodriguez's award too. Good, a lot of strikeouts for Scooble. I think the strikeouts probably had a little bit of an impact, but Grayson Rodriguez, rightfully so, wins that award. When it comes to the NL, Shohei Ohtani wins the MVP, 335, 45 homers on 129 RBIs, beating out Ozuna and Devers, and the Cy Young goes to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. For league leaders, we had Logan Gilbert lead the way in wins, and Cal Raleigh leading the way with slugging percentage and on-base percentage, as well as WAR. Yeah, I think he was actually probably the MVP for us. Should have been, but he doesn't get the award. Batting title this year goes to Jose Altuve, who hit 325 like it's 2017 again. He ends up getting that. Yordan Alvarez in second there. Hits leader, Yordan with 190 there as well. Your home runs leader, Brent Rooker leading the way with 52 over Raleigh's 47. Saves leader on the year is Raisel Iglesias, now with the Tigers, who had 50 saves on the year for the Detroit Tigers. When it comes to the leader in pitching, Cutter Crawford leads the way with a 2.54 for the Boston Red Sox. And your strikeout leader, Garrett Crochet with 203. On the NL side, the batting title goes to Shohei Ohtani, who hits 335 for the Dodgers, also leading in hits with 212 hits. Ozzie Albies was the second for that. Home run leader is going to be Marcell Ozuna, taking away the possible triple crown for Shohei Ohtani, and then 129 RBIs, so that one homer by Ozuna, which I think we were playing the Dodgers at the end of the season. Wow. That's a way to lose a triple crown. The last 2 days, Ozuna steals the home run crown. Saves leader in the NL goes to Randy Rodriguez with 53 saves. ERA leader Shohei Ohtani with 2.51. I mean, just a phenomenal season all the way across the board. Strikeout leader Spencer Strider. Jesse Hahn is the only pitcher who I have got sent down. Brought him up when Matt Brash got hurt partially through the year. He ended up being, okay, I guess it says worse with the negative WAR, but I don't really think, I mean, he walked a lot of guys, so maybe he was. 24 walks is not very good. Anyways, with the rest of the team, Colin Snyder wasn't great, 4.76 to 1.33. Dennis Santana got a little worse after we picked him up, hoping he'll be a little bit better next year. I think we have one more year left on his deal. Santos wasn't that great, 4.93 to 1.43. Nardi was okay. I mean, pretty much kept up with the track record with the rest of the season. I brought in Emerson Hancock in September. Brash was very good, and I gave him a contract extension. Gabe Spire was pretty good this year, 324 with a 1.4. Then Andres Munoz was phenomenal, 261 with a 1.2 whip, 43 saves on the year. He does end up getting a lot of losses. I think he had a lot of opportunities where he gave up like 1 run. I mean, he gave up 20 runs on the season, but I still think he ended up being very, very good this year. Just hoping that he gets another opportunity next year to break 50 saves at least. When it comes to the starting rotation, Kirby, 324 with a 108 whip for him and 144 Ks. Hadn't lost more games than he won. Gilbert, second in the Cy Young with a 319 and a 102 whip. Bryan Woo, 304 with a 108 whip, was very good as well. Castillo, 345 with a 126. And Bryce Miller, the lowest ERA of everybody, with a 299 ERA. I'm a really big fan of how everybody played here. This is going to be a nice rotation next year. Castillo is still not... sometimes I see him regress pretty early, so I'm excited to see this pitching rotation next year being exactly the same. Lineup-wise, I had Cade Marlowe come up in September. He did all right, 280 average on there. I don't think anybody else really had a substantial... I mean, Donovan Solano was up. He just had a good on-base, so I had no reason to send him down, though he wasn't a good player. He just at least was getting on base, which you will take. But from the major league level, Ryan Bliss, 257 off the bench, was all right. Garver, 235. He's a pretty expensive backup catcher when I've got Harry Ford on the way. There's a chance I would probably just get rid of Garver if possible. Victor Robles was not good at all. He lost his spot at some point to Canzone because he was terrible. 211, he did have 26 stolen bases, but yeah, he was very, very bad. We need to fill that position, but I guess we have an 80 overall on the way. Not going to probably bring him up right away. Dominic Canzone, 288, 7 homers, 20 RBIs. Maybe Canzone will just hold that spot for now. Polanco, 253 with 23 homers on the year for him. Julio, 282, 31 homers, 102 RBIs. Looks a little bit, I mean, I can't really say negative, but the slugging is back up to where it was around here. This looks more like his rookie season, which I think is what we want to see, as well as 6.5 WAR and 1,000 fielding percentage. That's a Gold Glove for the guy. Cal Raleigh, 293, 47 home runs, 110 RBIs, is the runner-up in the MVP, or third in that. No Gold Glove for him, but he was still a very, very good player this past year. Over 1,000 OPS with 8.1 WAR. Love what I can see there. 35 homers from Eugenio Suarez with a 263 average. Josh Naylor, 283 with 27 homers. So the two Diamondbacks that they traded for ended up being pretty good this year, both with the power that we need in the corner outfield. Both on expiring deals too, so there's a chance that we won't be able to bring back either of them. But Naylor had a Silver Slugger, and Suarez had a Gold Glove. Okay, all right. Rowdy Tellez, 15 homers, and then 17 for Randy, and 12 for JP Crawford. Basically, decent offense, I think, across the board. You saw good performances out of Julio and Cal, and then good power out of Suarez and Naylor. So, despite the fact that I think that we could say that we kind of went all in with the two trades to the Diamondback players, I really don't think we gave up enough to say that it was like a huge loss. Maybe Locklear, but, you know, with the picks and all the things that we made, I think that there's a chance that we can do this. #1 seed in the AL. We are playing Houston. Cleveland is playing Detroit. In the other side, Milwaukee versus Philly, and the Dodgers versus the Braves. So our hope is that we can take down Houston and take down our division rival who took down the Rangers already on the way here. Kirby is going to start game 1, Gilbert in game 2, and Woo in game 3. I think the nice thing about this rotation is we are never going to have to worry about our starters. It's all a question of whether the offense can provide enough to support them. Kirby versus Valdez in game 1 in Seattle is going to be... I'll just auto-fix it. I don't know what that is that was causing that. Munoz blows the save. We lose 1-2 in that one. Game 2, Gilbert versus Arrighetti. We need to win this one now here in Seattle. We do not. We have provided 2 runs of offense so far, as our second in the Cy Young, Logan Gilbert, loses to Spencer Arrighetti in the Houston Astros. Game 3, we cannot lose to the Astros this quickly, guys. This is the season we invested everything in. We grabbed the entire... This is the Diamondbacks roster. Bryan Woo versus Hunter Brown. Game 3. Thankfully, we win. It looks like a bullpen game in order to do so. Still on our back foot. Luis Castillo now versus Valdez in game 4. we are eliminated by our division rivals, the Houston Astros. Just not a lot of offense across the board. You saw it out of Raleigh, you saw it out of Julio, and I guess Rowdy brought in some offense. But otherwise, we just did not have the firepower necessary to win this one. Suarez hit 250. Naylor hit 308. These two guys, I guess, did their job, but it wasn't enough. The Detroit Tigers defeat the Milwaukee Brewers here in the 2025 World Series. World Series MVP is Gleyber Torres, who hits 2 homers in the 5-game series against the Brewers. Postseason MVP Colt Keith for the Detroit Tigers, and on the NL side, William Contreras for the Milwaukee Brewers. Wasn't enough for them, but hey, that still means that there are 4 teams left without a title, including us, and we have to make sure that nobody else gets that. So happily, we don't fall behind in that race to get that next title. We do have a lot of free agents, but I want to remind you that I think because we don't actually own the rights to Naylor and Suarez in real life, I'm not going to extend the qualifying offers to these guys. I will try to re-sign. I think I'm going to try to re-sign Naylor, but I will let Suarez walk, and I'm not going to extend the offer. And we will see if we can replace third base, because I think on a realistic standpoint, Suarez wouldn't come back. This would be the second time that he had been in Seattle, and I mean, good season for him, but good luck to him. Going into 2026, our team is actually probably a little bit worse than it was last year, with no longer having a Eugenio Suarez on the roster. We have a little bit of a gap to fill. Pitching staff is going to be mostly the same, kind of trying to replace a few pitching pieces with other ones. Really, I just brought in Bryan Woo off of the Rule 5. I thought that was really the only other move that made sense, and I'm going to keep Hancock up this year. Hopefully our bullpen will be better this season. And so lineup-wise, where we're going to really see the big changes. Spencer Horwitz was available, cost me like nothing to bring in, so brought him in. Why not? I brought in Josh Smith, who was left in free agency for some reason. Grabbed him. Why not? Once again, Harry Ford is going to come up. He's going to play DH against lefties. There's a chance he could play DH against righties, but Horwitz, I think, is a good piece for now. I could debate putting Horwitz out in left field instead of Canzone, and then bringing Harry Ford in to play DH. Essentially, we're in a position where I have a couple spots that I don't think are ready yet. We have Colt Emerson, who can play third base soon. And then we also have our new center fielder, Enrique Perez, who can come up and play at the major league level in the outfield soon. But I want to let him play in AAA first. With those prospects in mind, I get Cole Young as well, too. With these prospects in mind, we have the room to bring these guys up, but I still think that we need to be able to hold on to the players that we have right now. With no backup first baseman in sight, I re-signed Naylor for 5 years, brought him in. We could probably move him if one of those, if Alfredo ends up being the guy who I could take that spot with. Rosarena's in the last year of his deal. Crawford's in the last year of his deal. And we re-signed Polanco for 3 years, and we could move off him too if we need to. Really, there's just a lot of spots where the team is a jigsaw puzzle around the two guys that both have long-term deals. In addition, the big reason why we are going to be tight on money is we re-signed George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, and I think Bryce Miller signed his deal too. Did not give a long extension to Bryan Woo, who's the youngest of all of them. I think that it would just be easier to just not. And that gives us room then to maneuver the rest of the roster around with some space. But our pitching staff, the top 3 guys who I think are going to be here, Kirby, Gilbert, and Miller, are all under contract. And going into this year, we are going to have in AA, Kade Anderson and Jurrangelo Cjintje. I'm going to have to go through and actually figure out this name's pronunciation. I will figure out probably by the next time you hear me say it. Don't know if he'll be good. He was injured all last year. Third base is a major problem for us right now. We're not playing well because I think mainly at third base we're having major issues. Now, I should have known that with the Eugenio deal, being in that place, that was going to cause some problems. I just thought Josh Smith would be able to cover it, and he has not been able to do so. Nolan Gorman is on the Royals, who are in last place in the AL, well, tied with the Yankees, actually, for last place. And I was looking at either Nolan Gorman and Ryan McMahon, and Nolan Gorman, I think, is the better deal for us. He's not great, and he hasn't been great, but he still has positive WAR. He's still a positive player. He's not good defensively, but he's got a good bat, and we only have to give up pitcher Thomas Higgins for it. So this will be our third baseman unless something goes horribly wrong and I have to bring up one of the prospects. One of the reasons we do the trades now is just because I think we have enough of a farm system of players and prospects that I don't think we have to make a big deal to try to replace a third base position if we are good. And that's going to come to the draft too, where I think that when we're looking at the players, we're just going to get best talent because we now are in a position where almost every prospect that we have in every position that we have, I think can fulfill the places of the veteran players that we need to replace. Crawford and Arozarena and all of that. And so the top guy on my board is probably the top guy that I would hope to get is Keith Cloud. Obviously, he's a first baseman. We have just drafted 2 first basemen, and we have Josh Naylor for a long time contract. But if this is best player available, I got to take him. And to me, he looks like the best player who will probably be sitting there at pick 26. Otherwise, I have Gary McGee. Don't need another outfielder, but once again, best player available. Or if we're actually going to draft on need, we could look at Martin Bryan and just take a closer who probably will provide a lot of value for us. It's a tough situation because I honestly think the best thing to do for us is to just get as much talent in here as possible. And so maybe the best move is to actually take a starting pitcher and just go, hey, there's a good chance that Paul Ludwig or Rich Hammond, who is the 4th guy in my board, will be the best players available. And they'll be the best guys to get me a ton of value. Maybe Champlin Guerra would be. But I do think that I want to make sure that we are playing with the guys that we have. And so I think Martin Bryan is close enough to me to Gary McGee that I'd be okay with it. And I'm hoping that our scouting is actually accurate. We did scout him a couple weeks. Hopefully that's going to be enough. And I hope it's accurate enough that he can become at least a setup man for Andres Munoz. I want to see what guys would actually make the futures game for us. And Ryan Sloan, 2nd round pick in 2024, is actually in the futures game for us. As a starter, not Kade Anderson. So that's interesting to me. Let's just say we start him. And then when it comes to the lineup, I see Damian Milligan, the catcher that also got drafted, is there. We have Colt Emerson is going to be in this game. And then I don't believe we have anybody else. So no Enrique. Oh, no, what am I talking about? I'm literally staring at him right now. Enrique Perez, who, by the way, is hitting 298 with a 363 on base percentage. We're only going to have him down here in the minors for, I think, 1 year because Randy's contract comes up. So this will be a perfect time to bring him up then, too. So we'll have these guys actually in position where I think we could bring up Emerson next year. I think we could bring up Perez. I'm just excited to see they're there. I mean, Emerson in AAA is not hitting as well. He's hitting 228. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous and why I made the Nolan Gorman deal. If we have to wait a little bit longer on Emerson, I'm okay with that. I mean, we also have Lazaro Montes hitting down here at hitting 272 with 14 homers this year. He could come up like now, honestly. I think he'd be ready. And in his first season in AA, this is why I was surprised to not see him in the futures game. Kade Anderson, 227 with a 118 whip in 71 innings. I might be able to bring him up to AAA right now. Also in AA, Jurrangelo Cjintje is also hit 214, 116 whip. I can bring him up too. There's a good chance these guys, I think Jurrangelo especially, is probably more of a bullpen arm than a starter in our future rotation. I'm thinking Kade will be the guy who eventually replaces Luis. So if that's the guys, and then we still have Ryan Sloan, like, I'm going to have too much talent. I mean, we've been playing a little bit worse, I think, this year. So there's a chance that maybe we won't be in a great position. But no starting pitchers of our great rotation, our all-stars. Mainly because look at like Drew Thorpe, like crazy season from Drew Thorpe. Munoz is, though he's one of the worst relievers, I guess, besides Kimio Duvall. But, you know, he also has 22 saves right now and just has a lot more opportunities. No all-star for the Big Dumper. I think he leads all of them in home runs, but no all-star for him. So our only position player all-star is Julio, who also has 29 home runs right now at the all-star break. And we are leading our division. I'm not going to act like we're bad in any way, but I just know that we should be a little bit better. 55 and 42, I feel like, is not a good enough win differential for a team that really is as good as we are. We are 7th in pitching right now, right behind the White Sox, Tigers, Blue Jays, the Pirates, the Twins, and the Astros. So still have a good shot at getting this #1 pitching staff this year. Don't know if it'll happen, though. Have not had, surprisingly, not from the bullpen. Starters haven't been as good this year. I'm quite happy with our moves. I mean, Martin Bryan, 94 potential. Dude, this dude could actually be a closer. I was thinking of him more as a setup man for Munoz. Now, I still think he will end up being that, but he has the talent to be a closer. Great pick for us at the first round. James Collins in the second round, 88 potential, ends up being pretty good. 52 overall, he's further away. Arlen Cooley was a non-ranked guy that ended up having 84 potential. Not bad there. Non-ranked Philip Kim. By the way, discovery. That was what I was saying for this. Philip Kim, further away, got good traits. Maybe he'll be good in 7 years. And then Eric McCullough, it's another just long-range first baseman. Probably won't be good. But at least this one's 18, not 23. And then Bush, 72 potential, and Melvin, 73. So these two are misses, but they're swings at the end of the draft. Now, we could have had Gary McGee, and Gary McGee is good. 93 potential in left field, 62 overall. I mean, this guy, yeah. So I guess the question is, what value do we, what do we value more? This left fielder, Gary McGee, or Martin Bryan being a potential setup man? I mean, I think realistically you would say Gary McGee. But when you have Julio, Lazaro Montes probably being a star outfielder, and then Enrique, there might not have been room for Gary McGee. And that's not even to mention that we still have Farmello and Ty Pete and a bunch of other guys that we have in our system. That's the only reason I was considering it, being like, I think that a closer has more benefit to us because of how much depth we have in the outfield. With 1 month left, we're only 3 games ahead of the Astros, or 2 technically. If I do my math right, actually follow the games back. We're only 2 games up on the Astros, but I guess we're not really that far ahead in the wild card. Last year was just such a significant drop off, I think, between these other teams. We're just a lot of games above 500. We're going to still have to fight, I think, in order to be able to make it. And I do believe we're the better team. But the Astros just had the better pitching staff this year, which is hard. That's hard to deal with, knowing that we have such a big investment in our pitching. Before the season ends, let's actually just look. Kade Anderson, moved him up to AAA. He had that 2 ERA in AA. He has a 2 ERA in AAA this year. Only 54 innings, so small sample size. He'll play in AAA next year, but he could be up in the majors in September next year. And if you think he's good, Cjintje, oh my God, 0.96 ERA. Cjintje, sounds like I just said Sonya. My bad on that one. Did have a stamina go down, but he's a reliever, so he will be a bullpen arm, definitely. You could see the same thing next year, maybe. And Enrique Perez put up an insane stat line down in AAA this year. 5.8 WAR, 290, 363 on base, 24 homers. Yeah, I think he'll be up next year. And I thought we had a worse team, but apparently we were better. 101-61, we win our division. We will be taking on the winner of the wild card. I'll say apparently winning 13 games in a row to end the season does kind of help that. Julio Rodriguez with a Hank Aaron Award, and Cal Raleigh with an MVP, and Jorge Polanco with a batting title. Look, they've had a history of not being able to do it with one man. Ken Griffey couldn't do it by himself, and guess who else? And Ichiro couldn't do it by himself. Felix couldn't do it by himself, but these guys don't have to do it by themselves. They're doing it together. Cal gets the MVP, and in second is Julio. 52 homers for Cal, 45 for Julio. Kerry Carpenter is third in this race, actually. Amazing season for our Mariners. When it comes to the pitching, Cy Young goes to Hunter Brown with a 2.62, 183 strikeouts for the Houston Astros. And I saw Polanco got the batting time. Spencer Horwitz was in second. The offense woke up this year. This might be, I thought that we were going to be worse. Looks like Horwitz was a good investment. Because that will be a good shot. Shohei Ohtani wins an MVP easily. 56 home runs, 319, 142 RBIs. Cy Young goes to Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. League leaders, Bryce Miller, winning percentage, wins, and then George Kirby with innings pitched. When it comes to the actual hitting stats that we care about, home runs, Cal. Julio with triples. RBIs goes to Cal. Polanco gets batting average. Julio gets runs, and Julio gets slugging percentage, and we have more beyond that. But when you take a look at the top of the league, when the batting title goes to Polanco and Spencer gets it in second, I think we just signed both of these guys. That is fantastic. He played left field and he played second, and that ends up being great for us. Julio and Bregman tied for the lead in hits with 187 on the year. Doubles goes to Luis Arias with Julio right behind. He led in triples. And home run leader was Cal with Julio in third in that race. And the RBI leader goes to Cal, who was hitting after Julio. I wonder if that had an influence on why he got it over Julio beyond the home runs. And I can't even really say defensively because they're both great defenders, and there's a chance. No gold glove for Julio. No gold. Okay, so neither of them got gold gloves, but still great defenders. Saves leader goes to Felix Bautista with 48 saves on the year. We had Munoz there in third with 45. ERA crown goes to Drew Thorpe of the White Sox with a 2.14 ERA on the season. What a great year for Drew Thorpe. Just doesn't get the wins because he's on the White Sox. Phenomenal year for him otherwise. Your strikeout leader in the AL, Skubal. On the NL side, batting title goes to Xavier Edwards, 331 average for the Marlin. Shortstop ends up getting that over Soto. Hits leader is Shohei again with 208 hits on the season. Doubles Carroll, and then home runs Shohei. RBIs Shohei. Saves leader in the NL goes to Luke Weaver of the Reds with 53 saves on the year. ERA crown Zach Gallen with a 2.57 for the Phillies now. He ended up going there in free agency. And your strikeout leader, Hunter Green with the Reds, 233, just beating out Snell's 231 and Gore's 221, who he was injured, so maybe he would have had that otherwise. In our bullpen, nobody gets sent down. Hoeing was okay, 4.29 with a 1.19 whip for the Rule 5 pickup. That's all right. I think the whip is better than the ERA, shows that he was a little bit better than I think the ERA proves, but he still was negative WAR. Santos 4.19 with a 1.19 whip as well, so not great from him. Nardi was okay, 3.42 with a 1.10. Hancock was not really that great this year. Brash, not really that great. But Santana, fantastic setup man there. Gabe Spire was pretty good as a setup man. And our closer, Andres Munoz, another good year, another all-star for him, 45 saves in 64 innings. He's getting a little worse the last couple years, but I think there's a chance that he'll end up having just a really good season. One year where, he actually gets more save opportunities, I think. Kirby, 2.69, 102 whip, best pitcher for us this year. He could have been in the Cy Young competition really himself. Gilbert, 3.47 with a 1.13 is all right. Woo, 3.69 with a 1.21 is good. Castillo was good, and Miller was good. I think Miller's probably the worst of these guys with the 1.32 whip. But honestly, it's a little bit lower than I would have liked us to be for the pitching, but I still think it's all right. I think the bullpen still has some room to go in order to be able to get us to the top pitching staff in all of baseball, but I'm very happy with what I've seen. I mean, we were second in pitching, so it's not like it was a problem. Just the Astros are just that good. Lineup-wise, Canzone gets sent down 222 with a 285 on base percentage and a 697 OPS. It's just not good enough. He was pretty good last year, which is why we gave him the shot, and I think, yeah, I mean, we have outfielders. We don't really have to worry about him in any other way. Nobody else. I did bring up Junior Severino because he hit 390 in AAA, but he didn't really do anything there when we brought him up. When we actually look at the Major League roster, Ryan Bliss, 262 with 6 homers. Good player there. Arozarena was pretty bad this year. I mean, good thing he's got an expiring contract. We'll be replacing him. Love Randy, but he's got to go. Marlowe, 252. Josh Smith, the game brought him back up. He was terrible. 227 with 3 homers and 15 RBIs. I kind of see why he got cut, but it's crazy that he regressed that fast to even be in that position. Negative WAR, terrible. Thankfully, we didn't really pay him anything, so he's just kind of a negative contract. He'll sit in AAA. Julio was the runner-up in MVP. Horwitz, what a good free agent signing we got for him. $800K per year. He ends up with a 309 average and a 369 on base and hits 31 home runs. Why the Pirates let him walk, I do not know, but I will take it. Victor Robles, 289 with 2 homers. He took the Randy spot near the end of the season. Cal, MVP, 52 homers, 117 RBIs. ends up with 153 hits, gets a little bit more opportunities because I put Harry Ford as a DH, so he got to play 17 more games this year, rack up a little bit more counting stats on the season, and ends up with 8.6 WAR on the season as well. Naylor 281 with 22 homers, Gorman 236 with 24 homers. Big question is, did he have positive WAR? 2.5, that's good. We brought him in with 1.4, which is really what I wanted to see. That meant that he actually had some positive value for us. Jorge Polanco, 325, like amazing. That's not the player I thought he was. He played great. Harry Ford, 252 with 9 homers this year. And Crawford I don't want to say it's his last year with us because he did get on base a lot. But if he's going to ask for a lot of money, I'm not bringing him back. But he still was very productive this year, so I'm not like mad at it. But decent year there. Big thing, our two-headed monster, Julio and Cal at center field and catcher. It might be enough. It might be enough to get us a World Series run, especially when our pitching staff is as red hot as they are right now. We've won 13 games in a row. Don't let the bye week hurt us. The best pitching staff in baseball versus the second best pitching staff in baseball. Houston versus Seattle for a second straight year. If we win this, we will take on the winners of Baltimore and the defending champion Detroit Tigers. On the other side, you can see that San Fran is playing the Dodgers and Pittsburgh got a bye. Wow. Good for them. I think they have a Eugenio, actually. And so our hope is that we could take down Houston and get over that team. We have I would say we have the better lineup, but I don't know. They have the experience. Honestly, we might be the 1 seed, but we might be the underdog here. I think in this one, knowing especially we're coming off of a bye week, that might hurt us after winning 13 straight games. Let's do it. Game 1 in Seattle. Kirby versus Valdez. I need offense, please, in this one. Kirby versus Valdez. Game 1. We do win 2-1. Not a lot of offense, but we still do take that game. Taking out Josh Hader. Andres Munoz gets the win, meaning we score there at the end of that one. Game 2, Gilbert versus Hunter Brown here, also in Seattle. We win 3-1. It's not a lot of offense, but we're pitching gems right now. Going into Houston, Bryan Woo versus Christian Javier. We sweep the Astros. We will be taking on the Tigers of the Orioles. We have the defending champion Detroit Tigers here in the ALCS. Our first appearance in 25 years for the chance to make it to our first ever World Series. And I don't even think that's the most interesting story because we have won 16 straight games going into this series. And we might be able to hold that up with the hottest team in all of baseball. So game 1 is going to be Castillo versus Skubal, and then Miller versus Mize in game 2 in Seattle. Going for game 1 against the Tigers, we win 4-1, another low-scoring affair. Castillo gets the victory over Skubal. Miller versus Mize in game 2 in Seattle. Can we take this one too? We can. 2-0. Another great pitching performance as we have made it 18 in a row. Against Detroit, Kirby versus Job. Game 3, 7-0. We win again. We're up 3-0 on the Tigers. 19 straight victories. Gilbert versus Skubal to make it 20 in a row and go to our first ever World Series. We do it. We have won 20 straight games and we're taking on the Pirates in the World Series. The Seattle Mariners have not lost a game since September 12th and to the Marlins. And it is currently October 23rd. We are taking on Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. It might be Bryan Woo, but I can't change anything. We're too good right now. We've won 20 straight. I can't ruin this momentum. Woo versus Skeens in game 1 for an opportunity to win 21 straight games. And not even that. Win a World Series matchup. Oh, okay. No stress. Woo versus Skeens game 1 for 21 straight victories. We win 6-1. That's 21 straight. Okay. Game 2. Castillo versus Jared Jones. 7-1. We've won 22 straight games. Going into Pittsburgh, Miller versus Keller. Game 3 in Pittsburgh. Can Miller take down Keller? We've won 23 straight games. We got to jump in. We had to jump in. This team is pitching to a 1.37 ERA as we are taking on the Pirates in this one. Can we take game 4 and win 24 straight games to win our first ever World Series? Kirby is going to be on the mound. He has not given up a run yet. Julio, 318. Horwitz, 200. Whatever. I could swap that, but I'm not changing anything. Raleigh with 289, 351, 185 from Gorman, 400 for Polanco. What the? Oh my God, I love it. Actually, I'm switching it. We're putting in Randy. Okay. Here we are. Julio, Horwitz, Arozarena versus Johan Oviedo in Game 4 of the World Series. Let's see what we can do. Give me some runs early, boys. Spencer Horwitz with a solo shot to give us the lead. 1-0 in the first. Walk for Randy Arozarena for Cal Raleigh. Strikes out. Naylor gets on with an error. Nolan Gorman up to bat. Runner thrown out after he gets a hit. Sadly, we only score one there. Cruz grounds out, fly out for Gonzalez, and a strikeout. Polanco now up to bat, fly out there, pop out for Ford, and a fly out. Just to take a look at their roster, I know I kind of skimmed through it. They have a Eugenio. Here is an addition they made. They also have Alec Burleson, who they traded for last year. And then they have a first baseman, Mlbtheshow, who I actually liked in the draft, who they have actually playing at the major league level because they let Horwitz go. Dumb mistake by them, unless Mlbtheshow hits like a grand slam on me here. All right, ground out for Suarez, a fly out for Burleson. I'm not going to talk trash, okay? Andy Rodriguez, a strikeout. Rodriguez up the bat, grounds out. Horwitz with fly out, and Randy walks to get on base for Cal Raleigh. I'm actually going to steal second to give Cal a man on second, and he lines out. So we're still up 1-0. Ground out for Johnson, ground out for Peguero, and a pop out for O'Neal Cruz. Naylor lines out. Gorman pops up, and a single for Polanco gets him on base for Harry Ford. Walk, men on first and second for J.P. Crawford with a single. Bases loaded for Julio Rodriguez. He lines out. It's still 1-0 going into the bottom of the fourth. Gonzalez gets on with an error. Strikeout for Reynolds, strikeout for Suarez, and a strikeout for Burleson gets us out of that one. Spencer Horwitz gets a double to get on base for Randy Arozarena, who hits a single, men on first and second now for Big Dumper in the spot. 3-run shot! 3-run shot by Cal, the MVP. We're up 4-0. They're going to Joey Wentz. Double for Josh Naylor. Fly out for Gorman. Strikeout for Polanco. And a single by Harry Ford. We're up 5-0. Crawford and Ford on first and second. Julio! We hit a triple. We're up 7-0. They're switching pitchers again. We're up 7-0. Mlbtheshow gets the first hit of the game. Breaks up Kirby's no-hitter with a double. Fly out by Rodriguez. Ground out by Johnson. And a ground out by Peguero, but we were up 7-0 in this one. Randy gets a single, double play by Cal. And Kirby gives up a solo shot to O'Neal Cruz, giving up his first run of the postseason, but a strikeout, ground out, and another strikeout gets him out of that one. We're going to keep Kirby in, actually, because I just want to. Strikeout for Gorman, walk for Polanco to get on base, fly out for Ford, single for Crawford there to get him on first and second for Julio, who hits a double. Another set of RBIs for Julio as we get through that. We're up 9-1. Burleson with a fly out for Mlbtheshow, and another ground out. Double for Randy Arozarena, a strikeout for Cal, a fly out for Naylor, and a strikeout there too. Bottom of the eighth for Kirby, single for Johnson. Fielder's choice gets another man on first, fly out for Cruz, and a fly out. We are through 8. Polanco walks. Ford strikes out. Walk for Crawford. You know what? I just want to see Julio. Let's enter it and just watch him. Julio, I just want to see what he can do. It is 0. No, man on first and second. He already has a bunch of RBIs. Takes the ball up and inside. We're going to win this one. We are going to be World Series champions in 2026. Pending a catastrophic collapse, by the way. So I shouldn't say that, but I mean, I have so much faith. Julio fouls that one off 1-1. I just want to see the man get up the bat here in the World Series. What a end to a season. If this is that, and we end up winning 24 straight to win a World Series, sweeping the Astros, sweeping the Tigers, and then sweeping the Pirates, who I am shocked that they made it to the World Series. I don't know what to say here in PNC Park. With 2 strikes, a 4, Julio takes the ball inside on the 12-6 curve by Kyle Nicholas. I mean, the Pirates are probably just happy to be here. Honestly, they were nowhere near being a playoff team last year, and this year they found themselves all the way into the World Series. Yes, they got swept by us. Yes, they really kind of got annihilated in this series, but it wouldn't have mattered. They're just happy to be here. Could have been the Giants instead. Julio strikes out on a check swing. So I jumped back into quick manage, and I pressed one button because I just wanted to get to the end of the game. Horwitz hit another home run. Let's get to see the end of this celebration. Kirby, I think you're gonna pitch a complete game here, or do we go to? Nah, we'll make the pitching change. We'll go to Munoz or Gilbert. We'll let Gilbert pitch in the World Series. He didn't get a chance to pitch in the World Series. Ground out, strikeout, and let's see it. Give him a chance here. As we're at the bottom of the 9th here. Splitter outside. I don't think Gilbert expected to pitch in this one, but he's just smiling. He's just happy to be here. He gets an opportunity. He didn't even pitch in the World Series. He's like our best pitcher, and didn't even get a chance to pitch in the World Series because we were so good. Fouled out there. 0-2 count. Now for Burleson. The Pirates are down to their last pitch. Oh, almost. Just misses. Gilbert's not even sweating. He's not even sweating. This is Pittsburgh in late October. It's not. It's cold out, actually. With the pitch. Swing and a miss. The Seattle Mariners have won the 2026 World Series on the greatest run I have ever seen. The most momentum and the best pitching staff I think I have ever seen. It might be the best pitching staff ever. I'm going to actually have to go double check data to see postseason pitching staffs, because I don't think there has been something as good as what we saw here in this season. We did not lose a game between September 12th and October, don't even know, 29th? Whatever it is, 28th. We won the World Series without losing a single game in the postseason. That's something that I think has been done, but not winning 13 straight before that. We have done it. The Mariners, for the first time in MLB history, are World Series champions in 2026 behind the two-headed lineup monster of Julio and Cal Raleigh. 2 home runs by Spencer Horwitz, a random pickup in free agency. He was given up by the opposing team, actually. And the greatest pitching staff probably ever. We have won our World Series. Oh, what a season. A team ERA of 1.34 in the postseason. We only gave up 15 runs over 3 series. What? There are teams that played 1 series that gave up more runs than we did over 2 sweeps, or 3 sweeps. 11 wins, 11 games, we gave up 15 runs. So I looked it up. Since the division series existed, meaning it wasn't just a 1 series postseason, only one other team has ever gone undefeated in the postseason, and you got to think that's prior to the wild card. So that was the 1976 Reds, who only had to beat the Phillies in 3 games and then the Yankees in 4. So they went 7-0 in the postseason. We just went 11-0 in the postseason. They, in that season ended up having a 2.3 or 2.57 ERA over those 7 games, which I mean is great. They ended up giving up only 18 runs. We gave up only 15. Yeah, we're the greatest team of all time. World Series MVP goes to Randy Arozarena, and the playoff MVP, Jorge Polanco. I'm giving World Series MVP to Spencer Horwitz. Not Randy. Randy got it because obviously we brought him in. He didn't play all those games, so he got the better batting average. But that's Spencer Horwitz. Jorge Polanco gets postseason MVP. On the NL side, shout out Brian Reynolds for having a good postseason. What? I don't know how that can be topped. From a team success standpoint, I don't know how that can be topped. We broke the record for wins in a row, and we did it in the postseason. And technically, that streak's not even over yet. Oh, we're going to go to the postseason. I guess we said we're going to let Randy walk. He won the... I don't know. It's going to be kind of hard to top that, but we're not done yet. I think there's a big thing. I want to remind you, and this is for people who are new to this and for people who have been watching my channel for a while. Guys, if we won the World Series and that was the goal, we'd be done right now. You'd be able to click off. And I hope you don't, because I honestly think that there's still a lot more interesting stuff to happen. We just created the best team ever. And, you know, when we look at our goals that we set out for this rebuild, how many of them have we met? Like, we haven't developed any talent really yet. We haven't had to worry about creating, you know, the top pitching staff. We already technically did. I mean, when you consider postseasons, but we don't have a Cy Young. We still technically haven't been the #1 pitching staff yet. And I still think there's some way to go. I think to build around this team, to see what this team can be. Because of that, I just want to remind you, I'm going to keep going. We're going to go a little bit further and see how many more we can win. Because apparently, we just created a miracle out of nowhere. We've set the record for most wins in a row. We've created the best postseason team of all time. We have set all postseason records, pretty much. And we went undefeated in the postseason. And it's 2027. And Julio is 26. And Cal is 30. We have 4 more years with both of those guys under contract. And by the time it's 2030, we're going to have them at 99. You're going to have Enrique. You're going to have Lazaro Montes, Cole Young, Colt Emerson, and Harry Ford, Yorger Bautista. The pitching staff should be good, and Kade Anderson will be developed. The Cjintje, all that. And then, I mean, I'm going to re-sign Munoz. I'm not going to let him walk or anything. This is going to be an insane team. So we're going to keep going. We've got a lot of goals to go. And I'm going to bet you this story isn't over. We should actually start the season to see how many more we can add to this list. So 24 in a row. 25 in a row. 26 in a row. 27 in a row. Okay. It took extra innings on March 29th to end our streak. Extra innings. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. 11 inning game ends our 27 game streak from September 12th, 2026 to March 29th, 2027. The Seattle Mariners did not lose a single baseball game. Anyways, I kind of skimmed past it because I wanted to just keep the momentum going. We didn't make a whole lot of changes. I brought up Cole Young this year to potentially play short. We did actually bring back Crawford. There's a chance that Crawford loses his spot, and I think that like the contract we gave him, I think it's like $10 million. That we can move that and move off of it if we have to put Cole Young in that spot if we need to. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same team. And then Enrique Perez is up, and we have room for Montes if he plays well at the minors this year. Emerson can come up if he plays well at the minors this year. And then we already talked about Cjintje and Kade Anderson as potential, September additions to the pitching rotation. Maybe we'll be able to run it back. 2027 Julio is back again. 30-30 so far, just 72 games into the season. You know, he only has 111 hits in 72 games. Yeah, he's really good in 2027. Pretty much no matter what. Getting into the draft, I think we're just trying to get more best talent available. We have a later pick now that we have it. I think we have another compensatory pick too, so we might have 2 first-rounders. But beyond that, we don't have any needs. I guess we kind of do, but we have prospects at each position, so I'm not going to be upset about it. I just hope they develop. So the guy who's on the top of my board, who I think will still be there for us, is Jarrett Clark, third baseman, good contact bat with good vision and discipline. There's also another really good one, Robbie Cicero, who is another one who I think will be there. Not as good as Clark is, but probably more likely to be there. But in all honesty, I think what we're really probably going to be trying to get is one of the pitchers in this class. I've got a couple. Zuniga being one who I just think there's a lot of guys who've got good hits and walks per 9 who could be really, really good pitchers. We don't need pitching, but once again, best available. We'll see what's available for us at the end of the first. Life is made pretty easy here. There were a couple of guys that I liked, obviously, that I had Brian Keane here on the board. But when your top guy is still available, when you have your pick at pick 30, you take him. Jarrett Clark, welcome to Seattle. Taking a look at the futures game. Once again, Ryan Sloan is sitting here available in this futures game rotation with a 2.66 ERA. And in the lineup, we just have Colt Emerson and Yorger Bautista. Oh, I guess, and Aaron McCullough. Did I draft Eric McCullough? I can't remember. I wanted him. I forgot if I drafted him. Yeah, I did. We actually have a good amount of guys here that are in this system then. Was hoping to see, you know, Kade, but I'll take having my first baseman, my third baseman, and my center fielder all in the minors in the futures game. Because when we take a look at the All-Star game, we've got a couple guys in here too. While Taj Bradley is starting for the Twins, we have Bryan Woo second on this list with a 2.19 ERA this far into the season, and 11-2. He's got a real shot at getting a Cy Young this year. We also have Andres Munoz as the top closer in baseball with a 1.74 this year. You've got Big Dumper Cal Raleigh with a 2.55 average, but 26 homers from the power batter. He is seeing a little bit of regression, but that's okay. He's still very, very good right now this year. And then the other one is going to be Julio, who at the All-Star break has 40 homers. And we're coming off of one of the best seasons or best postseason ever, and we're 62-34, very clearly in position to make the playoffs this year. Even though we're only 7 games up on the Astros, they're also very good. We will be back in the playoffs, probably with another bye, especially if we have this performance and have the best pitching staff in all of baseball. And for a minor league update, Cjintje is going to probably come up in September because he's got a 2.72 with a 1.26 whip. I think he could come up. I don't know if he'd be a starter for us next year because he does only have a 3-pitch mix. I think he is a bullpen arm, but maybe Hancock goes into that starting spot because Castillo is a free agent and we are not going to bring him back. We are going to leave room for Kade, Cjintje, and then a couple other guys, you know, that we have like Jeter Martinez and Ryan Sloan. Leave some room for those guys to come up and take that spot. But he's been phenomenal. Way better than Kade, who I think is sitting at a 4.18. Not a good start from him this year after a phenomenal first year, but he's playing better right now, and I'm hoping it'll be enough to put together a good second half and maybe be Major League ready by the time we get to September. I'd say we did pretty well. Jarrett Clark, 88 potential, 60 overall, good stats all across the board. I think he could be an interesting piece that we could add to the team in a couple years. The second pick was kind of a miss. He's 68 overall already, so maybe he's just going to be a decent reliever in Joel Escobedo. But the big hit, I think, is going to be Jimmy Wilson, who was available to us. I think this is the 3rd round pick, actually, because of our compensatory picks. And he's got good stats and 99 potential. We don't need him. But you gonna pass up an ace like that? There's also a really interesting prospect. I didn't put him on my board because I knew he wasn't going to be available to us. Matthew Silva, 82 overall with only 89 potential. I don't think I've seen a player built like this. There's a chance that maybe he, you know, didn't end up or got drafted and didn't go or didn't sign. But never really seen a prospect like that. So good for the Nationals. Kind of track this guy, I guess. This is a close race. 87-52. I mean, we're practically clinched in the playoffs. I would say that. You would think so. 87-52. I mean, that's definitely a 100+ win pace. So expectations are high. We're 13 games ahead of the Rays, but the Astros are right behind us, half a game. they are also really, really good this year. And that's going to mean that we might not have this division. But you know what I think we do have? At MVP. This is a great stat line, like one of the greatest stat lines of all time at the end of a season. There's a month left. Julio's at 204 hits, 61 doubles, 14 triples, and 47 homers. He is hitting 368 with a 409 on base and almost a 1200 OPS. And yes, 12.1 WAR, because he's also only has one error, meaning there's still a chance of him getting a Gold Glove too. Oh, if he can hold on to this, I don't even know if he'll get a Triple Crown because the home runs numbers aren't that high. I say that as if 47 is not high at this point of the year, but you know that like Cal probably has like 50 and Rooker probably has 50 and Judge. So I want to know how many hits he can end up with by the time this season is over. Dude, 2027 Julio hits different. We do take the division 103-59 to win it. We will be taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game, which will probably just be the Astros again. I mean, they're a very good team. They just got swept at the end of the season, which kind of looks like they fell off a little bit there because of that. But we do win that. They are going to be the #1 wild card team. 97 wins doesn't get you a division title. We have a bunch of awards. Julio Rodriguez with a Hank Aaron. Enrique Perez with Rookie of the Year. Shout out him. MVP for Julio. Batting title for Julio. That's a Triple Crown. Nothing beats 2027 Julio Rodriguez. He almost didn't get it because Cal had 50, but he ended up with 51 homers. He hit 365 every day of the year. Julio's on base. We get 236 hits from Julio this season. Man, if he played those extra 8 games, he's not getting to the Ichiro like 262 record, but wow. What a season from Julio. 236 hits, 69 doubles, 15 triples, 51 home runs. He doesn't get 20 stolen bases. 365 average, 408 on base, 755 slugging, an 1163 OPS. He ends up also with 13.4 WAR. I'm going to guess no Gold Glove because it probably went to like Denzel Clark or something like that. But yeah, what a season for Julio. Cal was in second with a 265. He hit 100 points worse than Julio and is second in the MVP race with a great season. Our top 2 guys are phenomenal. I mean, Jose Ramirez had a great year too. It just isn't going to match what 2027 Julio can do. Cy Young goes to Cole Ragans of the Kansas City Royals with a 2.72 ERA and 206 strikeouts. On the National League side, Elly De La Cruz gets an MVP, hitting 323, 41 homers, 120 RBIs for the Cincinnati Red. And Freddie Peralta gets the Cy Young, now with the New York Mets, 2.75 ERA and 186 strikeouts. We end up racking up a bunch of league leaders. Just in the pitching staff alone, we had Bryan Woo with a 2.31 ERA, a .889 winning percentage, and a .92 whip. Means he probably could have been in the Cy Young race. Not really that pressed about that one. Julio leads the league in home runs, doubles, triples, RBIs, batting average, hits, I'm going to guess, slugging percentage, on base, all that jazz. He ends up leading it there. Yeah, Julio is just kind of crazy sometimes in this. If he gets a good season, it's unbelievable. And it's crazy now. In back-to-back years that we've done a Seattle Mariners rebuild, Julio Rodriguez in 2027 put together one of the greatest seasons of all time. It's just what he does. Leads the way in hits by a lot. I guess we can just kind of skim through it all because it's just Julio on top for everything. Not stolen bases. It goes to Chandler Simpson. But yeah, just kind of leads the way in everything. So when you look at then pitching, there's a record broken. Brusdar Graterol breaks the saves record for the Boston Red Sox with 62 saves. Woo led the way in pitching with Kirby behind. I'm wondering, that probably means we were first in pitching this year. And your strikeout leader was Cole Ragans. On the NL side, we had a 2-way tie, but Elly De La Cruz gets the batting title with a 323. Wonder if that got him the MVP because of it, leading with 204 hits. And then home run leader in the NL is going to be Bryce Harper with 42 home runs for the Phillies. Saves leader in the NL is Mason Miller with the Padres, 56 saves in the season. Justin Steele leads the way in ERA with a 2.46 for the Cubs, and your strikeout leader, Mackenzie Gore, with 239. And we do lead the way in pitching, just beating out the St. Louis Cardinals. That means we definitely have knocked off another one of our list. We have an MVP. We have a title, which I guess wasn't a thing that we needed to do. We've re-signed most of the pitching staff, but we still need to develop Kade Arnold. But we do Kade Anderson. I'm thinking of Jamie Arnold at the same time. Anyways, and we have the best pitching staff in all of baseball. So, let's take a look at that pitching staff. Cjintje only had 2 innings of work in his time up. Gave up 3 runs in those innings, but was still pretty good. I guess, I mean, a AAA was a lot better. Doesn't take an L for it, so it was an unimportant inning that he got his shot in, and was the only guy who sent down. Brian Hoeing, 3.38 with a 1.44 whip there. Santos, 3.50. Nardi had a 3.27. Brash, 4.64, was one of the worst pitchers we had. Hancock with a 4.09. 1.14 whip is actually really good, though, so just got to get a little unlucky. 4.08 for Santana. Gabe Spire, 3.88, was still pretty good, but a bad whip, so it's kind of inverse of Matt Brash. And then Andres Munoz, 2.27 with a 1.04 whip. Still hasn't led the way in saves. I'm guessing it's because we're just winning by too much, because he doesn't get a lot of opportunities. It's crazy. He had 47 save opportunities this year, got 43. In a season we won 103 games. Like, that means that about 60 of those games was not a save opportunity. What a crazy team we have that he can't get 50 saves in a season. But still, great season for Munoz there. On the rotation side, Kirby, 2.44 with a 1.12 whip, 3.27 and a 1.09 for Gilbert, 2.31 and a 92 for Woo. Castillo was our worst pitcher. He's aging kind of poorly. 4.31 with a 1.33 whip. He is a free agent. He is going to be gone. Thank you very much for your help, Castillo, but we wish you luck in the end of your career. Maybe we'll get you a second title on the way there. And then Bryce Miller, 3.17 with a 1.19 whip. Lineup-wise, Nolan Gorman got sent down. He was not good. Only 19 games, only 71 appearances, but 183 in those appearances. He had negative .6 WAR in, 19 games. That's not good at all. He's the only one who gets sent down. Of importance, at least. And then when we go look at our actual lineup, Ryan Bliss, 266 on the season. Barlow with a 230 is all right. Smith, 227. Yeah, that wasn't really a good signing. I think the funny thing is, so we signed Horwitz and Smith basically both for nothing. You go 50-50 on that because Horwitz was good and Smith was not. I think that's fine. We already looked at Julio's stats. Enrique Perez in his rookie year, 25 homers, 86 RBIs, and a 277 average. He is going to be really good alongside Julio. That's fun to see. Polanco, 271 with 18 homers this year. We brought him back for a couple of years. Excited to see what he'll do. I don't remember if he has. Yeah, he's got one more year left after this one. Cal, 265, 50 home runs, 133 RBIs on the season. Another 900 OPS season for him. And a 9 WAR season this year, meaning he probably got a gold glove. He did. On that season. What a year there. Naylor, 292 with 21 home runs. It was a great, this is the best acquisition I think they got on the deadline because Eugenio didn't really help us. And then Horwitz, 283 with 15 home runs. That's really good for him. He had 31 last year, so a lot less power this season, but he still was pretty good. I'm not going to complain for a guy that I think we're paying $800,000. Yeah, that's nothing. Cole Young, 229. Okay for the rookie. Harry Ford, 219. I don't like to see that. It was kind of disappointing. He was a lot better last year, hoping that he will return back to form next season. And then JP Crawford. Honestly, if Cole Young was better, this signing would have been terrible. Because we brought him back because we were like, okay, he'll be fine. He hit 240 last year. This is bad. He's still got a lot of walks. He's still got a lot of times to get on base, but yeah, not what I was hoping to see out of JP Crawford, and we still have another year of him. And Cole Young really didn't prove to me that he can take his spot, though, so it's not like a thing where I have to be like, oh, well, it's just time to get rid of Crawford. So let's get into the postseason. We're probably taking on the Astros. Who would have guessed it? We got Houston in the first round matchup here for us in the ALDS, trying to go and repeat our chances. Tampa Bay is playing Boston in the other series, and then on the NL side, the Dodgers are a game up on the Mets already, and the Brewers are a game up on the Phillies already. So let's see what we can do here as we are taking on Houston. They have Skubal, which is so annoying. They have Skubal, Hunter Brown, and Framber Valdez. They have a great pitching staff. Ours is obviously the best in baseball, so I can't really complain. And last year we put together the greatest postseason pitching staff of all time. So hopefully that'll be enough here. We're taking on Houston here in the first round in game 1 in Seattle. We lose 7-9. Not a lot of pitching here. Looks like our bullpen kind of fell apart in this one. We had to come back now. Gilbert versus Hunter Brown in game 2. We do win that one 8-6. This is kind of an offensive showing, surprisingly, between these two pitching staffs. Bryan Woo versus Framber Valdez. This year, I think both had less than a 3 ERA. What's it going to be in game 3? 5-1. Bryan Woo puts together a really good game, and our offense shows up late in this one, in probably the 7th inning, honestly, as we end up winning that one 5-1. We are up 2-0 on Houston. Castillo versus Skubal in game 4. We win, and we'll be taking on the Red Sox in the ALCS. As we look at the postseason in the ALCS, we have Boston and the Brewers are up a game on the Mets right now. They were the 6th seed, lowest team in the NL, as their chance to go back to a World Series after losing 2 years ago, and our chance to go back after winning just last year. Miller is going to start game 1 against Garrett Crochet here in Seattle. Bryce Miller versus Crochet game 1. Miller gets kind of crushed in that one. We lose 2-9 as Crochet pitches good enough when Miller just didn't play well. Meaning we got to take a game back here off of them in Seattle. Kirby versus Harrison in game 2. We win that one 4-3. Kirby ends up kind of making up for his poor performance in the first one. We are now lost home field advantage, so we have to take a game off of them in Fenway. Gilbert versus Tanner Houck in game 3 is going to be us. We get the victory. Gilbert pitching a good one. We win 3-2. We are up 2-1 on the Red Sox. Bryan Woo versus Brandon Clark in game 4 is a massive 17-9 victory. We are up 3-1 on the Red Sox with a chance to go take on the New York Mets in the World Series in 2027. Luis Castillo versus Garrett Crochet, game 5. We do lose that one in Boston. So let's go back to Seattle and hopefully get a victory. Bryce Miller versus Kyle Harrison in game 6. Okay, we lost both of them. We're just saving it for the game 7. George Kirby, Tanner Houck. Game 7. All on the line to make it back to the World Series. We blew a 3-1 lead. We scored 17 runs in game 4. And we scored 2 over the next 3. If we could have spared any of those runs, we might have been able to win a game in game 6 or 7. The New York Mets get their World Series title. And we don't repeat in 2027. Wow. What a way to go out. World Series MVP is Juan Soto of the Mets. 4 homers, 321 average. Postseason MVP, Jarren Duran for the Red Sox. And Juan Soto for the Mets. So, trying to recover from a 3-1 series collapse that we had last year. We're moving into this year with pretty much a similar lineup. I'm not doing a whole lot different. Only thing is, I did bring in Kyle Schwarber to play DH this year because I didn't want to keep up Marlowe and Canzone. So I just thought it made more sense. Let's bring in a DH, and then Ford can play in left field against lefties, and Horwitz can play in left field against righties. And that just gives me more room to maneuver while I wait for Montes to be ready to play at the major league level. Or I did bring Farmelo up in case he's ready. Basically, we have spots that I think I have room to maneuver, and I just wanted 1 year of another DH. And in the pitching staff, Hancock is going to play that 5th spot, and Sanja is going to be up 2. I hope I'm doing that pronunciation right. I literally looked it up and was like, it's like Sanja, something like that. It's so hard. It's so hard to say his name. But speaking of relievers, we also assigned Andres Munoz to an extension, so he will be here for the long term as well. And then we should have some other relievers that we have ready in the bullpen. So we're going to do this upcoming draft. This will be the last one I think we show. And then we're just going to kind of go for the rest of these seasons. We've got a couple more years with Raleigh still on contract. And then we've got plenty of years left with Julio on contract. Will he be able to top 2027? Highly doubt it. Will we be able to top 2026? Also highly doubt it. For our last draft, once again, we're just kind of looking at best potential player available just to add to the farm system, because I think we have a lot of guys. Now, I do think outfield we could use some more because Montes hasn't really developed, but I'm not going to prioritize anything except for talent. And this is a weird draft. Ryan Martinez is the top guy on my board. And that's because he jumps up all the way to 2 in our draft rank, meaning he's probably high 90s potential, but he has really no like stats that are really desirable. And that kind of is almost every player in this draft. And the problem is we have pick 28. We don't have pick 1, 2, or whatever. There are guys near the top that I think could be generational, but I don't think that we're going to have a chance at any of them. Honestly, I'd expect that our best chance is to get Alexi Esposito. I don't need a third baseman, but he's probably the best player who will be available. So I'm going to guess Ryan Martinez won't be there. There's not really any pitchers in this draft. I mean, there are, but none of them have good traits. So we'll just see what we can end up with. Honestly, kind of crazy. So the guys that I had on my draft board, Ryan Martinez, Alexi Esposito, Doug Peralta, like the guys that I had near the top that I thought would all be there. I mean, Doug Peralta was projected 49th. He went at pick 3. Martinez went at pick 8. Esposito, who was originally projected 65th, went at 12. Tommy Morey even went, and he was like on my board as somebody who I thought. So pretty much everybody who I thought was going to be there are gone. But I guess I still have 2 guys on my board at 3. Bolich, Gomez, and Bong, who I think could all be there, or who I think could all be interesting. I think Bolich is the least likely to be a bust. It's hard because I also know Gomez is the number 1 ranked. This is more if I was going to take, you know what? Okay, this is what we're going to do in this one. Gomez is going to probably have higher potential rating than Bolich. Gomez is also going to be a worse player, so he will be traded, but he'll be a good asset. And we don't need more pitchers. So I'm going to take Gomez. I would surprise James Choi is here. I'm going to take Gomez, hoping that he's a really high potential player, and we're just going to trade him. At the All-Star break, we find ourselves 66-30 this season. I mean, the offense has really been better this year, too. I think the addition of Kyle Schwarber helps a lot with that. And it's not like, once again, I don't think we're running away. We have a bigger gap than we have in the past, but the Rangers are good and the Astros are also good. So we can see 3 teams from our division in the playoffs this year. And taking a look at All-Stars, we have a couple. We have Bryan Woo, once again, as an All-Star this season. Was one last year, is going to be one this year. He's just really good. 2.53 right now. This far into the season, I don't think he's going to ever have a chance at a Cy Young because he doesn't strike anybody out, but I love the production I got out of him. And Andres Munoz, 0.93 ERA. Can he at least get over 50 saves? Dude, he's at 37 in the All-Star break. A lot more opportunities, a lot more close games, a lot more chances for him to do it. When we take a look, otherwise, no big dumper, but Josh Naylor is an All-Star, actually starting at first base. I think Torkelson probably should be, but I'll take that for us. And then Julio is also 30 home runs, so he's got 10 less homers this year than he did last year, but he's still hitting 355, so he's keeping it up. He has 139 hits at this point at the break, and 30 home runs and 41 doubles, so he hasn't really fallen off that much. The home run number just probably won't be as high, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll be 40s. He slowed down last year. I think he only hit 11 home runs after the break. He can hit 20 home runs after the break. So the reminder is, when you have no desire to have any players on the board, nobody looks interesting to you, draft for trade value. Elvin Gomez, 98 potential. He does have 79 Ks per 9, so he could lead the league in strikeouts by the time he gets to the major leagues, but he's going to be a 4.5 ERA type of guy, not a guy I want in my rotation. He'll be great for somebody else. James Choi, 93 potential, 94 for Michael Bong. Look, none of these guys have traits I like, but they are all great assets. Randolph Reed, 81, that's okay. Orozco, 88. Actually, this guy could just be good. This is just a random swing. He was still available there, and 71 overall, 88 potential with good traits. Love that. Random swing, 97 potential. Random swing, 87 potential. And then the last, at the end of the draft, we just got a guy that I guess can pitch right now. Reed Hafey. This is just
beautiful. I could get whoever I wanted with this draft if I traded the whole team. 106 and 56. We put together our best season yet, adding that extra offensive power on top of the pieces that we had. Well, that's useful. That gives us our best season, 106-56, taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game, which has been the Astros every year. Maybe this year it won't be. Munoz gets his Delivery Man of the Year. Hank Aaron Award goes to Julio. MVP Julio. Batting title Julio. Triple Crown Julio. Back-to-back Triple Crowns for Julio Rodriguez, who did find the power. His average went down a little bit in the latter half of the season. You can actually see the contact stat going down a little bit at the end of that season. But 158 games, 220 hits. His second straight 220 hit season. 56 doubles, 56 home runs, 11 triples, 157 RBIs out of the leadoff spot. Man, imagine if he was hitting third. 341 average, 398 on base percentage with an 1100 OPS. Slightly worse than last year because of the double numbers going down a little bit. And just a few less hits, but he also ends up getting 12.5 WAR this year, 997. I think he had 1,000 fielding percentage, like at with a month to go. So does he no Gold Glove? That's sad, but whatever. That's his 6th Silver Slugger as well, and 2 straight MVPs for Julio. Judge was second. White Langford was third. Cy Young goes to Tarek Skubal with 344, 209 strikeouts. Gets that. Bryce Miller was actually second. Kind of got the wins help there, but 128 strikeouts is never going to get you the award. Garrett Crochet was in third in the AL. On the NL side, Shohei Ohtani wins another MVP after being broken up by Ellie. That is now his 6th. Gotta hate him. And then Glasnow wins the Cy Young for the Dodgers. We have the league leader in wins with Bryce Miller, and Andres Munoz ties the saves record just set by Red Sox pitcher Brusdar Graterol last year. Graterol last year, 62 saves in this season. And then on the offensive side, Julio with home runs, Julio with doubles, Enrique Perez with triples, beating out Julio. I think that's by 1. Julio with RBIs, batting average, hits, all of the above. Julio wins the batting. Jose Miranda was in second in that race, actually. Hits leader, 220. He's the only one over 200 in the AL. Doubles leader with 56. Yep, 1 triple. He had 1 more triple than Julio. But Julio, fantastic year from him. And pitching-wise, yes, Munoz with 62 saves. We saw him with 37 at the All-Star break. Knew that he was going to get more opportunities. He played 11 more games than he did last year. The games were closer, and he pitched to a 1.39 ERA in those games. That's 1.3 WAR. That's it. That's crazy. To have 62 saves and only 1.3 WAR, yeah, that's ridiculous. Brant Herter was in second in that one. ERA leader Cody Bradford of the Texas Rangers, and your strikeout leader Tarek Skubal of the Astros. The batting title goes to Jesse Winker in 2028. Age 34 Jesse Winker hits 327. Yes, I know he went back to Cincinnati, which is where he started, and he hit really, really well back in 2021. Okay, Jesse Winker. That's amazing to me. Shohei Ohtani leads the way with hits. Doubles Terang, home runs, Shohei Ohtani. That's a very small amount of home runs in the NL. That means pitching was crazy in the NL. Felix Bautista had 56 saves for the Brewers. ERA crown, Sanchez 267 for the Phillies. And your strikeout leader, Mackenzie Gore, back with the Padres, 211 strikeouts. Actually, this isn't as crazy as I thought it would be, seeing the low power numbers. Taking a look at this year, we are the number 1 batting average offense. I don't know if we're going to be 1 in runs. We're number 2 in that. But when we take a look at ERA and pitching, we are second. All right, I was hoping we'd get that title more than once, but it looks like we finished second this year in pitching. Emerson Hancock leading the way. So I did give Kade Anderson his debut in September, 4.5 ERA. He was terrible in AAA this year, so he never really got a chance to come up. Jeter Martinez was up because he didn't have any options. He ended up with 4.58 ERA and a 1.47 WHIP. Nothing real crazy there. We've got some guys I think that need to move up. I think Kade will be up next year. Whatever. Hoeing didn't play this year. Santos 4.91 with a 1.17 whip. I think I can be done with Santos. Troy Taylor. Okay, that's not good. Cjintje 4.02 with a 1.28 whip. Honestly, not bad. I'll take that, especially with the 58 strikeouts. That's going to be pretty good. Matt Brash 4.24. 1.63 whip. Bullpen let me down. Santana 3.79 with a 1.44. Nardi was good, a 2.25 with a 0.81 whip. And Andres Munoz was phenomenal as the reliever of the year. George Kirby with a 3.78 and a 1.24 whip leads the way there in the rotation. Gilbert, sadly, that's not that great. 4.03 with a 1.15. Bryan Woo, phenomenal again. 2.92 with a 1.13 whip. Only 113 strikeouts, though. Bryce Miller, second in the Cy Young. And Hancock, great as well. Glad he took that starting spot this year because he was really, really good. I know I talked about Kade Anderson, but Hancock might be able to hold on to that spot for another year. We'll bring Anderson up, and we'll just see what ends up happening. Or Sloan. Well, we'll bring Anderson up this year, but, like, Hancock can hold on to that spot. Lineup-wise, Johnny Farmello did not really impress at all. 193 with a 262 on base percentage. He did have 5 homers, but he stayed on the bench. Gorman was bad again. Okay, I can't really blame it. This is a lose trade for us, right? Like, if you were to realistically look at it, we made the trade here for a prospect in need, and we had 3 years of Nolan Gorman, and he has been awful. But we had the 1 year where we won the World Series, and he was on the team. So I guess I have to just kind of deal with it. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say there. I brought up Celestin and never got a chance. Crawford 257 with 7 homers. Okay. And then Harry Ford 279. Very good. Playing left field this year instead of catcher. Like to see that. Julio, great once again. Back-to-back triple crowns. Enrique Perez 272 with 25 homers, 85 RBIs. I think we can say that he is that new pillar to the offense that we talked about wanting to get. He's definitely provided that. Finding a generational player helps a lot. Josh Naylor, 275 with 29 homers, 97 RBIs for the former Guardian, former Diamondback. Best trade we made. Cal Raleigh, 244, 30 home runs. Yeah, he is, I don't know if this is just a down year, which it could be. This could be a down year. He played 141 games instead of 162. So the counting stats are a little bit lower, but yeah, OPS drops below 800 for the first time since last year in real life. So he's back down to a little bit normal. Hopefully that's not just it's just one down year for him. Schwarber, 29 homers as the DH this year, hitting 267. That's pretty good. Polanco, 266 with 16 homers. Cole Young, 265 coming into his own. 272 and 18 homers for Spencer Horwitz. What a good pickup that was. Still can't believe he was available. 278 and 6 homers for Ryan Bliss. All around, really good season. Cal is starting to kind of drop off, maybe. But we're 156. See if we have to play the Astros again. Who would have thought? For a 4th straight season, we are matched up with the Houston Astros in our first playoff series of the season in the ALDS against them. Minnesota is back in the playoffs. They are taking on the Baltimore Orioles. And then on the other side, it's kind of the usual suspects, Mets, Brewers, and Dodgers, Giants. So let's see what we can do against the Astros in this one. Kirby versus Skubal in Game 1. He pitched a gem in their wild card game against the Rangers. Can we make sure that he does not keep that momentum up? Kirby versus the Cy Young Award winner. We are unable to do that. Cjintje just blows it. 1.2 innings, 16.2 ERA. Skubal pitches really well, but it's not enough. Gilbert versus Henry Borowitz in Game 2. Please give it to me, Logan. Santana blows it. Our bullpen is playing terribly. Bryan Woo versus Hunter Brown. Going into Houston, Game 3. We are eliminated by the Astros. And so the Astros do make it to the World Series, but they are defeated by the Milwaukee Brewers, probably in like 4 games, based on just where the little blue marker is on my screen. Yeah, that was a Brewers sweep. The Astros beat the Twins in 6. Well, I guess we were the only thing stopping them from getting there. And they started off real hot, and we did not. Your World Series MVP is Tyler Black. Gets it. I think he was probably just like a platoon bat that hit 500, just kind of how Randy was for us. Jordan gets postseason MVP for the Astros, and Christian Yelich, 36-year-old Christian Yelich, gets postseason MVP for the Brewers. We have a lot of free agents this year, and after the absolute collapse of our bullpen, there's a chance that I think we might have to rework the bullpen more than anything. I have a couple guys that I think could be interesting at coming up, but we also talked about all the trade assets that we had, and so I think if we were going to use those this offseason, we are going to spend big on the bullpen to supplement Andres Munoz this season. Munoz, Brash, I think everybody else can pretty much go, and we'll see what we can do around them and make some trades, I guess, to try to go in for 2029, I guess, and get back to the World Series after our miracle run in 2026. I told you we're doing a big deal, and I think the Padres are the best team to go after, a team that has yet to make the playoffs in the 4 years that we have been in this one so far, and I doubt they'll be making it now. They have Cade Smith in the last year of his deal. They have Mason Miller in the last year of his deal, and I'm just going to get another pitching prospect, and they're going to get essentially the number one prospect in baseball in return. Elvin Gomez, good for them. See what we can do with the most stacked bullpen ever. And the other piece that we drafted was James Choi, another pitcher who I think that has a lot of value. We're going to trade him to the Rays, who are also not really competing and have not made the playoffs in several years. We're going to get Chandler Simpson back to play left field. I'm going to throw in 2 more pieces in this deal because I want to make sure it's a little bit more fair. Also because I'm not going to be able to keep these guys. And I'm going to get Edwin Uceda in return. We are going to have the best bullpen in baseball along with the best starting rotation. So the question will be, will that be enough? Will Chandler Simpson be able to fill that left field spot with Harry Ford probably moving back into the DH position? Don't know. Simpson's been great thus far. He's led the league in steals every season. So this is going to be the team next year. I don't think there's ever been a more all-in year than what 2029 is going to be for us this year. And that's because we went and made massive investments into the bullpen for expiring deals of Mason Miller, Cade Smith, and Edwin Uceda. We also brought in Chandler Simpson to play left field while we wait for Farmelo Bautista Montez to develop. We have a lot of guys that are ready to come up soon, but I think we're in this position because we can make this investment now. We had assets, might as well turn them into something. As one of the best farm systems, let's fix the problem we've had pretty much the last year. Last year, it might be an overreaction in general, but you cannot deny that we now have one of the best bullpens, and we gave up a lot to do it, giving up 2 top prospects in that process. Julio going off of 2 straight MVPs, maybe Big Dumper will be back up to what he was at. And now we have, I can't see it here, Kade Anderson is also currently going to be pitching up at the major league level this year in the bullpen. 110 wins maybe, or maybe we disappoint. I don't know. We also were able to get Manny Mlbtheshow, somebody who I liked in the original 2025 draft, off of waivers because Pittsburgh cut him, interestingly enough. So we'll be able to add him to the DH spot as well. And he's got several years of team control, so I'm going to take advantage of that to the best of my ability as we get into this year. Kind of going to go right to the end and see if we end up doing this. No shortcuts, no pit stops halfway through. Well, we didn't win 110 games. We only won 100. It's kind of disappointing, actually. But we do get a Cy Young from Bryce Miller. Only one other award, though, and that is going to be a batting title for Enrique Perez. Julio might have fallen off. He didn't win an MVP because... Is that... What? Andrew...
Just got some top from this stripper bitch. She from Kanka, she just bought
Hit high. Hit deep. I'm on baseball.
She wanna smoke, so I bought some dope and took her to the Oak. Just got some top
You
from
have
this
got to be kidding me.
clock with a ruler clip.
The legend of Andrew Vaughn keeps growing.
Go, she wanna smoke, so I bought some dope and took her to the Oak.
On the NL side, Junior Caminero wins the MVP, and the Cy Young goes to Hunter Brown, now with the Giants. In the AL, Enrique led the way with the 306, Julio with a 302, Chandler Simpson with a 299. Our three outfielders with the best batting average in the entire AL. Also, with having Julio leading with hits with 194, Chandler in second with 193, and in fifth, Enrique had 188. Chandler Simpson seems to have been a good pickup for us. We led in doubles with Julio, and Vaughn led in home runs, so triples was Perez. We didn't get that with Julio this year. And Andrew Vaughn, the king. Saves leader this year is Andres Munoz, who leads the way with 53 saves. Only guy over 50 in the entire... that's a weird name. Over in the entire AL. Bryce Miller led in ERA with a 2.52. And the strikeout leader, Garrett Crochet, with 209. On the NL side, Mookie Betts gets the batting title, hitting 325 for the Dodgers this year. Hits leader is Riley Green with the Padres, 186 hits. Your doubles leader, McCarthy. Home runs leader, only 38 from MVP Junior Caminero. Matthew Silva, that second baseman we looked at in his rookie year, hits 35 homers. Second in the league. The saves leader in the NL is Randy Rodriguez of the Giants with 52 saves. ERA leader goes to Paul Skeens with a 2.58. And your strikeout leader, Blake Snell, 216. We had a couple guys get sent down. Dennis Santana got sent down. He had a 4.36 with a 1.52 whip. Negative WAR this season was not very good. Cjintje, 7.93. Terrible this season. He got sent down with a negative 0.3. And Kade Anderson in his rookie season, 3.78, 1.44 whip. I think he did fine. 5-5 on the season. 132 strikeouts. He ended up with 1.4 WAR, but he does get sent down, interestingly enough. Hancock, 3.23 with a 1.13 whip. Edwin Uceda, 2.45 was pretty good. You see Brash, 3.44 was pretty good. Mason Miller, all right, 4.16. Cade Smith is all right. And Munoz, no reliever of the year for him this year, but a second straight season leading the league in saves is going to be good. Kirby, 3.60 is a good season from him. Gilbert, 3.30 with a 0.96 whip. Woo leading the way, Woo with a 3.49, and Bryce Miller with a Cy Young after last year's runner-up appearance in the Cy Young race. Adds another trophy case. We also did lead the league in pitching and ERA over the White Sox and the A's. So, number one in pitching, can we add a World Series to that? Lineup-wise, we had a couple guys get sent down. Ryan Bliss with 240 average, 300 on base percentage. 1.7 WAR was still okay, but wasn't necessarily that great. Spencer Horwitz, 253. He had 10 homers. Did all right, but he gets sent down, 14 OPS, and negative 0.4 WAR this year in the DH spot. Yeah, not that great. Manny Mlbtheshow got cut for a reason. I thought he might have been decent. He was not. Ended up being a negative WAR player for us. Farmelo got sent down as well. 256, 297 on base. I mean... yeah, nothing real special there. I guess we've got other guys that could probably do better next year. Anyways, Celestin, 196 wasn't good. Montes came up in September, only had 3 at-bats. Harry Ford, 240. Okay, I mean, nothing really good across the board there. 299 with 9 homers at 55 RBIs and 67 stolen bases for Chandler Simpson this year. And left field, Julio, 302, 32 home runs, 122 RBIs, under 200 hits for the first time in a couple of years. It's still a good season from him, but a little bit of a down year as the power seems to have dripped out a little bit there. He drops down to an 893 OPS and only racks up 7.7 WAR. No Gold Glove despite an errorless season in center field for him. Enrique Perez, 306, 22 homers, 111 RBIs, and right was really, really good this year. Cal Raleigh, 27 homers, 241 average this year. Yeah, his power dipped off too. From 47, 52, and 50 to 30 and 27 in back-to-back years. I think his peak is over. Josh Naylor, 271 with 31 homers. Cole Young, 265 with 19 homers and 66 RBIs was pretty good. And Emerson in his rookie year, honestly, put together a good enough year that you could say maybe he could have gotten a rookie of the year. 258, 319 on base with 19 home runs. And 3.3 WAR was pretty good from him. I'm going to make the adjustments before we play our postseason game and see who we're matched up with. I don't think it's the Astros this time because they weren't good. Here in our all-in season, we have the Toronto Blue Jays in this matchup. The Twins are playing the Orioles in the ALDS for a second straight year. The Brewers are against the Braves, and the Rockies are playing the Giants on the NL side. So we might have a chance to get through this. Let's make sure not to blow this one. We have a considerably better bullpen than we did last year. Kirby is going to be game 1, Gilbert game 2, and Woo game 3. So Kirby versus Bowden Francis in game 1, who got the victory in the wild card matchup against the A's. Can he do it? Kirby versus Francis. We win 7-5. A little bit of a higher scoring game, and we get the victory. Logan Gilbert versus Trey Yesavage in game 2 in Seattle. Can we take this one as well? We cannot. We lose that one. Gilbert does not take it, meaning as we go to Toronto, can we go across the border and get a victory with Bryan Woo against Ricky Tiedemann? Game 3 is a 2-3 loss. Woo loses. Our bullpen has been fine, but our starting lineup's not getting it. Can the Cy Young Award winner beat Bowden Francis in Game 4 in Toronto? He can. We win 6-1, forcing Game 5. Kade Anderson versus Johnny King. Can the third overall pick in the 2025 draft take down the Toronto Blue Jays in his first postseason appearance to advance to the ALCS? He can. We are taking on the Orioles in the ALCS. Brewers and Rockies in the NLCS, and we have the Orioles here. The top 2 teams in both leagues getting past their byes to have the chance to go to the World Series in 2029. We have one of the best bullpens in all of baseball and a great starting rotation, the number 1 rotation in all of baseball as well. Kirby versus Joe Ryan in game 1, Gilbert versus Jack Flaherty in game 2. So interesting rotation. And then Woo versus Grayson Rodriguez in game 3. Baltimore invested in pitching. Good for them. I know they don't have Gunnar anymore, so I think he's with the Rangers. Kirby versus Joe Ryan in game 1 in Seattle is going to be a 4-5 loss. Andres Munoz takes the L as we lose that one. Game 2, Logan Gilbert versus Jack Flaherty here in Seattle. Can we win this one? We cannot. Cade Smith gets the L this time to Cade Povich. Our bullpen arms at the back of the rotation, the 2 best ones, Cade Smith and Andres Munoz. No disrespect to Mason Miller. He wasn't very good this year. Both to take L's in the 2 games in Seattle, meaning we're going to have to go into Baltimore and get some victories. Woo versus Grayson Rodriguez here in game 3 in Baltimore in Camden Yards. Can we take this one? We can. 5-4. Edwin Uceta gets the victory in this one as we take it. Taking a game off them in Baltimore. Cy Young Award winner Bryce Miller versus Esteban Mejia in Game 4 is a 9-1 victory. Can we win the 3rd straight game in Baltimore? Kade Anderson versus Joe Ryan, Game 5 to take a 3-2 lead. We can. We win all games in Baltimore. That means we, Colorado and Milwaukee, are still in it, so we don't necessarily know. If we win 1 game in Seattle, we'll be back in the World Series in 2029. Kirby versus Flaherty in Game 6. Gilbert versus Mejia in Game 7. Kirby versus Flaherty. Can we win 4 straight? We can. We will be taking on the Colorado Rockies in the World Series. What a turnaround for the Rockies. They have Chase Dollander, Christian Javier, Brody Becht in their starting rotations, the top 3. But their big signing that I think has turned this is they invested in the power bats. They brought in Yordan Alvarez to play left field. And that has probably been enough for them to have their shot. Brenton Doyle is still here. Veen is here. Charlie Condon is up at the major league level. I don't even know. He didn't win Rookie of the Year in his first year, but he was still pretty good. 24 homers and 31 last year. They have Ethan. Now, Holiday's not playing yet. That's crazy to me that Holiday's not playing yet in 2029. Anyways, Warming Bernabel is playing third base for them. So maybe we should be able to take them down. I don't really know how they're here. They're the 14th best team, but they had the second best record in the National League. So game 1, Logan Gilbert versus Chase Dollander in this one. Gilbert has not been that lucky, but I still have confidence that we are the better team than the Colorado Rockies. So game 1, Gilbert versus Dollander is a 2-3 loss. Gilbert takes the L. I think that means that Gilbert he lost in that one. He pitched in this one, but didn't get the L. That went to Cade Smith, and Gilbert lost game 1 of the World Series as well. So Bryan Woo here in Seattle in Game 2 versus Christian Javier is a 2-1 victory. As we get a pitching duel, we get the victory for Andres Munoz in this one over Victor Vodnik. Going into Colorado now, needing to take a game off of the Rockies in Coors Field. Brody Brecht has a .64 ERA so far this postseason in likely his 2 appearances, pitching really, really well. Bryce Miller also has been pitching very well here in Game 3 in Colorado, 8-6. It's a little bit more of a shootout. Brian Hoeing gets the victory in that one. We were up 2-1. Kade Anderson on the mound versus Martin Deal in Game 4 to make it a possible 3-1 series. We were able to do so, up 3-1. Last year we lost a 3-1, or that was not last year, 2 years ago we lost a 3-1 series in the ALCS. Let's make sure we don't do that here in the World Series. Kirby versus Dolander in Game 5. Okay, we lost that one. 2-5. The top of our rotation, Kirby and Gilbert have not been that impressive. Going back to Seattle, let's jump in and watch Game 6 and Game 7. Hopefully Gilbert won't lose another one. So 162 was enough to win us our league. And I guess the Rockies won the National League West with a 90-72 record. Crazy to think that over the Dodgers, they were able to do so. And they've kind of done so with pitching more than their bats right now in the postseason. We're going to be running the City Connects with Gilbert on the mound here in T-Mobile Park in 2029. A chance to win our second ever World Series. And I'm hoping we can do so here. Looks like Julio's played well. We've seen good games from Spencer Horwitz. And, I mean, Johnny Formello and Harry Ford have played well, too. So, they have Forrest Lucas at DH, Warming Bernabel at third, Jordan at left, Condon on first, Brenton Doyle in center, Adil Amador on second, Zach Veen in right field, Drew Romo in center, and Ezekiel Tovar at shortstop. We are the better team, but can Logan Gilbert, pitch a game that's well enough to actually get a victory? Starts with a flyout, strikeout, and a double for Jordan, and a 2-run shot for Charlie Condon to go up 2-0 early against Logan Gilbert. Not a good hole to be in early. Julio gets on. I'll have him steal second. That gives a chance for Enrique Perez to get a walk. Men on first and second. We could do a double steal here for Cal. We do. Get the double steal for Perez and Julio, giving Cal a chance. I think I'm not going to do the sac fly. I'm going to take the risk and not take the run, hoping that the big dumper can hit them both in. He cannot. Fly out. Can Josh Naylor hit them in? He can. Gets the single. It's tied 2-2 here in the first. Gilbert versus Amador, ground out. Strikeout for Veen, and another strikeout. Ryan Bliss versus Christian Javier, flies out. Strikeout for Young, and a strikeout for Emerson. Gilbert versus Tovar, strikes out. Ground out for Lucas, and another ground out. Ground out, strikeout, and another strikeout as we go to the top of the fourth now. In this one, still tied at 2, line out for Jordan, ground out for Condon, and a ground out for Doyle. In this low-scoring affair, Cal Raleigh gets on base with a single. Fly out for Naylor. Single for Horwitz. Men on the corners for Ryan Bliss. We're going to have to go for the sac fly now. And we get it. Up 3-2 after that one. And a 2-run shot for Cole Young. Makes it 5-2 in this one here in Game 6 in Seattle. Solo shot for Zach Veen makes it 5-3. Ground out for Romo. And a flyout means that 3-run gap has been turned down to 2. Simpson gets on. He's stealing second. He's stealing third. And Julio should be able to easily hit him in. He walks. He's stealing second. Men on second and third now. Strikeout for Perez. Walk for Raleigh. I think I'm just going to take this. No, I can't. You got to swing. Strikeout for Naylor. Strikeout. Had bases loaded. Could have went for a sac fly. Didn't do so. Gilbert is going to be here. I think I'm actually going to make the pitching change. We've got a really deep bullpen. Let's take advantage of it. I think I'll go Matt Brash. Actually, this is a left. I don't have any lefties. Yeah, we'll go Brash here. To start the first 3, Lucas flies out. Bernabel gets a single. Jordan gets a fielder's choice on first. And a pop-up. Gets out of that one. Brash gets through it. Zach Agnos versus Ryan Bliss. They're actually going to a lefty. Ryan Bliss should be fine. Strikeout. No, he's not. Cole Young gets a single to get on base. Fielder's choice puts Emerson on base. And another fielder's choice gets us out of that one. We're going to go to another pitching change here in the top of the 7th. We're going to use them all. Mason Miller coming in now in this one against Brenton Doyle. Strikeout. Amador grounds out. Veen strikes out. It is a 2-run game in the bottom of the 7th. Double for Julio. Perez flies out. Ground out for Raleigh. A walk for Naylor. And a flyout for Horwitz. In the top of the 8th, we will go to the next arm. Going to Cade Smith. Here against Drew Romo, strikeout. A triple for Forrest Lucas for Warning Bertobel up to bat. Grounds out, going to the bottom of the 8th. They're going to go to Luis Peralta. Ryan Bliss gets a double. That is going to be a ground out for Young, a fly out for Emerson, and a single for Simpson, who will steal second. Oh, he doesn't steal third. Oh, I just wanted to be greedy, I think. And we'll switch to Andres Munoz to end this one off against Jordan. Strikeout. Condon. Ground out. Let's watch the celebration, as long as Munoz doesn't blow it, for our chance to win our second World Series here in 2029. I mean, this is kind of an interesting take, because we're a 100-win team. We technically didn't play as well. We didn't have an MVP. We won the World Series the year that we probably had the worst team of the past entire rebuild. We won it on an insane streak. And then in 27 and 28, we had insane seasons from Julio, but it wasn't enough in the postseason. This year, we invested heavy in the bullpen, and while they didn't pitch well during the regular season, it might be enough once we get to the postseason, because all you really need are the right arms at the right time. Munoz goes down 2-1 in this one, as it's the top of the 9th against Brenton Doyle. Too bad for the Rockies that they're going to probably be unable to get their title here, as we have a 3-run lead in this one. 2-2 count with Munoz getting the strike. But if we get 2 titles, that's a fantastic run. With the pitch, he fouls it off with the slider outside. And we're going to do this one in Seattle, too. Last time we got the sweep. This time, the Seattle fans will be able to see their team on top, celebrating in T-Mobile with a foul off the 4-seam fastball. Goes for 101 miles per hour up high. Doyle down to his last pitch. Here we are. Slider down low, 3-2 count. Adil Amador is on deck in case Munoz does not get Doyle out of this one. But if he does, that'll be it. Fouled off again. Doyle is fighting in this one. 102 mile an hour off the bat. 8 pitches in this at bat for Munoz. Here we go with the pitch. Throws that one in the dirt. No swing. He walks Brenton Doyle, but that'll be okay. We're just a deal Amador. We're still not really in danger just yet. And we're past the middle of the order. We don't have Jordan or Condon. We are kind of to their weaker bats in this lineup. Amador in the 0-0 count in the top of the 9th with the pitch. Ooh. Blue calls that one a ball. It looked like it was on the paint, but it does not get the call. Hits that one foul. 1-1 count now for Amador in this one. I'm really hoping that we can get really cool. Like, just give me like a swinging strike in this one. With this pitch, fouls this one off. 1-2 count. Adil Amador now in his last strike for the Rockies to fight back and possibly get into a Game 7. Ball low. If the Rockies can force a Game 7, that would be a miracle for them. But I have a lot of faith in Andres Munoz in this one. With the pitch. Foul off again. It's taking a lot of pitches to do this for 4 batters. But if there's a lot of fouls, that's what happens. 2-2 count now to Amador. For Munoz. With the pitch. Fouled off again because they just foul the ball off every time. I'm really happy, actually, with this entire rebuild if we end up doing this. I kind of want to go a little bit longer. I think we'll just jump and skip to the end of the seasons if we do, because I'm really excited with what we had. Oh, he swung and it hit him, but he swung at it. Dude, he took a ball to the chest. He took a slider to the chest and swung at it. Oh, I knew it was the worst part of the lineup for the Rockies. We win another one. We go all in, invest in the bullpen, give up 2 top-end prospects in the offseason before the season started, knowing that we had to improve one thing that really fell apart last year when we played Houston. I thought we had a shot to do it last year, but the bullpen fell apart. This year, they were enough, and we will win our second ever World Series in 2029. The 2026 World Series championship was probably a little sweeter than this one, but I felt like this is a more dominant showing than anything. You invest in bullpen, and probably with the best bullpen that you could put together. We are able to do it, behind a fantastic outfield of Chandler Simpson, Julio Rodriguez, and Enrique Perez. We are able to do that, and we still have a couple more years with this core because they signed young, they signed cheap. We've got a lot of prospects in the waitings. This is not over. Seattle is not done just yet. Can we make it 3 titles in Seattle? I really hope so. I hope that we can hold a 3rd trophy up and create the dynasty of the 2020s to 2030s. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but it'll all be behind Julio. Your World Series MVP is the Big Dumper, and your playoff MVP is Julio. The 2 major pillars of this team both contribute big in the 2029 World Series. We were able to do it, and yeah. I just realized Jordan was on the Astros last year and he signed with the Rockies, so he went to back-to-back World Series in order to do so. On the NL side, Jordan was the postseason MVP for the Rockies. He is a big piece to this. I mean, he played really, really well. Condon and Amador also played well. But that's 2 titles for us. We are going to keep going. I'm probably just going to jump to the end of these seasons, though. We're going to sim a little bit quicker. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time even going over the stats, so just want to make sure that we can find our notable moments. See if there's anything cool that happens. As we just see if we can create a couple more trophies here in Seattle behind Julio, the Big Dumper, and the greatest pitching staff in baseball. Though I'm not bringing back that bullpen. We brought in Yelich, and we brought up Ryan Sloan. So maybe 2030 we'll have a little bit of an interesting new lineup. 2030 and the entire outfield are all-stars. Julio, Enrique, and Chandler Simpson, they're going to keep it up. Hey, we made the playoffs. We won 100 games. And Julio, Hank Aaron, Rookie of the Year for Ryan Sloan. And Julio's back on top as the MVP with Mlbtheshow in 2nd, Gunnar in 3rd, and I saw Cal Raleigh was in 3rd for most of the season. Joe Ryan, Cy Young, Matt Olson, he gets the MVP on the NL side with Bubba Chandler now with the Padres. Getting the Cy Young. Just a quick run through of some interesting stats. Bryan Woo, ERA leader in the AL. And then Cal Raleigh leads with home runs with only 42. Julio with RBIs, slugging percentage, on base, and WAR. Jacob Wilson with the batting title. Also, because it's a fun stat, Kate Smith led the way in saves, now back with the Guardians, and Mason Miller in 2nd, now with the Orioles. And Munoz was terrible. 39 saves with 7 blown saves. Ooh, maybe he needed that help. And our amazing pitching staff, 367, 311, 401 for Bryce Miller. Bryan Woo with a 235, probably Cy Young, really caliber there. Ryan Sloan with a 370, gets the Rookie of the Year. And Kade Anderson lost the starting spot to Ryan Sloan because he was phenomenal. 445. I also did move Cjintje back to a reliever, brought him up. And yeah, he was not good. But I think we still have a good shot at winning another title as we had a really, kind of top-heavy roster, but 293 from Simpson, 315 and an MVP from Julio. That's his 3rd now, as he is now, it's another 40 home run, 40 double season for him. Enrique Perez, 295 with 32 home runs and 111 RBIs. He's a 97 overall now. And Big Dumper, back up to the power, 42, gets the home run crown this year with 141 hits, 42 homers. And the OPS is back up over 900 as he ended up racking up 8.8 WAR this year. Even got a gold glove. That's his best season since 2027. Will the team be enough for us in our chase for a 3rd World Series title? We're taking on Boston. Baltimore's taking on Houston on the other side, who won and advanced. Atlanta versus Milwaukee, and the Dodgers versus the Giants. Kirby versus Kyson Witherspoon, as we're going with the normal rotation. Everybody's still pretty much the same in this one. In Seattle versus Boston, Game 1. It doesn't matter. We lose a lot. 1-8. No offense really there. I think that was just a Ryan Bliss problem because he got sent down again. Logan Gilbert versus Garrett Crochet in Game 2, 3-1. Okay, Gilbert gets a victory for once in a playoff game. I said this as if he didn't win Game 6 of the World Series last year. But going into Fenway, Miller versus Brandon Clark in Game 3, 6-9 loss. Kirby and Miller not playing well. Down 2-1 in Fenway. Bryan Woo versus Kyle Harrison. We win that one, forcing a Game 5 for the Rookie of the Year, Ryan Sloan versus Garrett Crochet. We are eliminated by the Red Sox. Julio has 3 MVPs. We didn't make it to the World Series in any of those MVP seasons. And Matt Olson and the Atlanta Braves defeat the Red Sox in the 2030 World Series. Don't worry, our entire outfield is still just all-stars. Julio, Enrique, Chandler Simpson. I think the fun thing is that on top of that, we also are in a position where we have so many other outfielders. Yorger, Bautista, the minor league prospect that they brought up, Ty Pete, Johnny Farmelo, Lazaro Montes. The young guys are here, and I think nothing can signify that more than now Harry Ford being an all-star, not Cal, which is crazy because Cal's still playing catcher, and we have a 90 overall catcher, which I guess is something realistic for them, but whatever. And then Munoz still an all-star, and Gilbert's still an all-star. This is the best team I think we put together yet, and they're young. And my only concern is Julio is putting together another phenomenal season. And whenever he does that, we don't win. So I need him to play worse. What the hell is this prospect? 91 overall, 93 potential. I mean, I snagged him, didn't have him scouted. I just saw 85 to 99 and then 83 to 97. And he had 0 scouting. What the hell is this? All right. Also, I got a guy named Jimbo. Well, I think this is the best team we put together yet. I mean, technically not by the records. I think we just lost like 6 in a row, though, to get there. 105 and 57. But I think the bigger question is, can we get over the curse that apparently we've set? We do get a bunch of gold glovers, which is great. But a Hank Aaron from Julio, an MVP from Julio, a batting title from Julio, another triple crown from Julio. That's his 4th MVP and his 3rd triple crown. Will we be able to actually win something when he gets an award? So far, we've won the 2 years he didn't, 2026 and 2029. Can 2031 be the next year for that? Otherwise, I guess nothing really that interesting. I know that the Padres are good. Bryan Woo is always good. And then on our offensive side, Julio, Chandler, Julio, and Julio. Batting title, Julio. Look at the Orioles, though. Ike Irish, Xavier Edwards, and Jackson Holiday. Good for them. And I know they have a good pitching staff, too. Probably see them in the ALCS if we even get there. Please, Julio, don't curse us again. But we are back to having a top-end pitching staff. Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Woo, and Ryan Sloan. I moved Kade to the bullpen. He was pretty good, 121 innings with a 121 whip and a 402. He's a 90 overall, sitting in the bullpen because Bryan Woo and all of them are still too good to let him have this spot. And then Munoz, he's now up to 370 career saves. He's at age 32. Will we be able to get him to 500 before he gets, too old to be able to pitch, especially now that we have insane closers on the way? Let's just take a quick rundown of this lineup. 294 from Chandler Simpson, who had to play second base most of the year. Also ended up with 55 stolen bases. Alfredo Francisco, 278 average, is more of a contact first baseman. 56 homers, 140 RBIs, a 329 average for Julio, with another 1100 OPS year for him this year, racking up 11 WAR coming back to this. The only difference is we have so many outfielders. He didn't play like the 150 plus games he could have. That would have been a 60 home run season probably, as he doesn't get 40 doubles for once too. Also, he's at 78 career triples as well. Cal is regressing. He's down to a 91. He still hit 37 home runs. So these 2 down years were a little weird. But he's back. I mean, last year was really the good year, but this year he was still good. And he got another gold glove. So one of the best defensive catchers. Perez was really good with 316. Cole Young, 276. Montez had a 251. 248 for Emerson, 287 for Harry Ford, whose potential went up as he played 162 games this year, and we gave him a contract extension. So, yeah, we've got so much depth. Yorger Bautista's at an 89 overall, hitting 266 this year. Yeah, the problem is, so Simpson will be gone and all that, but, I don't have room for all these players. This team is too good. And so, can we break the curse of the Julio Rodriguez MVP, as he's got 4 MVPs and we have not made it to a World Series yet? We have the Blue Jays in our ALDS series. Cleveland is playing Baltimore in the other ALDS series. The Padres are already a game up on the Dodgers, and the Pirates are a game up on the Cardinals. So, with that, let's see what we have. Kirby versus Tiedemann in Game 1, Gilbert versus Savage in Game 2, and Miller versus Johnny King in Game 3. Game 1, Kirby versus Tiedemann is a 6-4 victory for us. Kirby didn't pitch well, but it was still enough. Game 2, Gilbert versus Trey Savage. Can we get that one? 6-1. Gilbert pitches a good game. 7 innings, no runs given up, as we're going to go to Toronto and see if we can take this one. Bryce Miller versus Johnny King. We get the victory. We sweep them. Going to the ALCS. We need to win this one now. We have the Baltimore Orioles in the ALCS trying to win our 3rd World Series. Trying to get over this Julio problem. The Padres are up a game on the Pirates in the NLCS at the same time. They have, this Orioles team is probably one of the only teams that might be better than us. They have fantastic pitching staff and an amazing lineup. We'll see what we can do. Bryan Woo versus Joe Ryan in Game 1 of this pitching duel. We end up losing 7-8. Losing with the bullpen, Osvaldo Chavez. All right. Game 2, Ryan Sloan versus Esteban Mejia in Seattle. We take that one 1-0 in a perfect pitching performance, giving up no runs even though we didn't have a lot of offense. Into Baltimore, we got to win a game here in Camden Yards. George Kirby versus Boston Bateman in Game 3. We take it. We're back up 2-1, keeping home field advantage. Gilbert versus Joe Ryan in Game 4. The Orioles tie it up 2-2. On the other side, the Padres have swept the Pirates. They are in the World Series. Miller versus Jose Cano in Game 5 in Baltimore. We win that one. We are up 3-2 on the Orioles. Can we make it? Woo versus Mejia in Game 6 is going to be a victory, and we are going to be taking on the San Diego Padres in the World Series. More than anything, this Padres staff is supplemented by an amazing pitching staff. I think they made a trade for Bubba Chandler early on in this rebuild because they've had him the whole time. He's won a Cy Young, and they've had him there. They have Mackenzie Gore, who they signed. They have Cash Mayfield, who they developed, Cruz Schoolcraft, and Elvin Gomez, the top prospect that we traded away in order to get Mason Miller. It's going to be another pitching duel. Or maybe not, too, because you got to remember, they also have a great lineup. C.J. Abrams at shortstop, 87 overall. Riley Green, 92. Matt Shaw, 97. Fernando Tatis is still a 91. Jackson Merrill's an 85. Keishel, Cale Fountain, Ethan Salas. They have done a lot of trades throughout this entire rebuild, and I've seen them do a lot of them because, I mean, that's really realistic for A.J. Preller and the Padres to just trade for assets over and over again. But it's also crazy just to think how much talent they have here in their opportunity to win their first ever World Series. But I have confidence in us. Ryan Sloan is going to start Game 1 versus Bubba Chandler. I mean, they helped us build the 2029 World Series team. Let's hope that we didn't help them build a 2031 World Series team. Game 1, Sloan versus Bubba Chandler. We take the victory 5-4. Game 2, Kirby versus Mackenzie Gore is another victory. We are up 2-0 on the Padres. Gilbert versus Cash Mayfield going into San Diego is a 2-0 victory. We are up 3-0 on the Padres. Going into Game 4, Bryce Miller backed against the wall with Bubba Chandler. We dominate. That was a 13-0 victory to beat the Padres, who put up 5 hits in that one. What a performance we had. You know, maybe if they would have pitched Elvin Gomez, you know, maybe it would have been something special. Maybe not. I'm actually curious to see how we did in this one. Yeah, we just amazing pitching staff. We win our 3rd World Series and finally do so with Julio having an MVP. World Series MVP this time is Lazaro Montes, who gets it, and the playoff MVP is Julio. Montes didn't play a lot of games, but he hit a home run in the one that he did. And Julio, 460 this postseason. No homers, despite hitting 56 in the regular season. Cole Young and Cal as the other guys. This team still has a lot to develop. I think there's still a lot of room to grow. But I think as Julio's in his 10th season, this is probably a good place to stop. Could he continue being a really, really good player? Yes. But I think the more interesting thing about this team than anything is just how well we've developed the rest of the roster around them. And how many of the guys that we've drafted could be potential pieces for them in the future. Is this team a dynasty? I'd say they probably are, because while there's been a large gap, 2026, 2029, 2031, it's a good 5-6 year gap when you consider it. This team is still near the top, and it's still going to stay that way as they move into the 2030s, kind of like the Red Sox did in the 2000s to 2018. From 2004 to 2018, they won 4, and we have won 3 in a shorter span. Maybe Cardinals, more likely. Either way, did you look at it, we end up being a team that I'm really excited to say I think we did a great job. And a big part of that, amongst everything, is that we have ended up getting some of the just best development we could have got, and we've drafted players and just done fantastic in that department, to a point where I'm not even sure if it'll be very interesting to keep going. As we look at 2032, yes, we still have Julio under contract, but look at this bullpen. We have Munoz still here. Woo would probably be in the bullpen now, as we'd have Sloan, Kirby, Anderson, Gilbert, and Miller in this lineup. A great bullpen with Orozco, who we drafted. We'd have, I guess, Brash is still here. Vines, Martin Bryan. And then we have that guy that we just drafted that's a 91 overall. Cal would still be catcher because he's good defensively, but we have Luke Stevenson, who we get drafted. We have Tomas Fuentes, who we drafted with A potential. Harry Ford is a 90. We just gave an extension. Jarrett Clark, first overall or first draft pick in 2027. I think I saw in AAA this year he hit 330. He could definitely come up and play. There's just no room for him with Cole Emerson there, and Cole Young and Felman Kestine, and Ty Pete might play second base next year. We have Farmello here as an 85. Bautista's a 91. When we go a little bit, a couple years in the future, like let's just take a look at 2034. You would have 99, 99, 98 in the outfield with 86 Jarrett Clark here. Cole Young as an 88, Ty Pete 85. Montez would probably be at first base and not Alfredo, which is crazy to me to think about that, is that our first baseman, who we have a potential with, Alfredo Francisco, would not be a part of this team if the computer had control of it. They'd actually let go of him and have Montez play that spot instead, when Francisco would probably be, one of the best pitchers in baseball. No matter what you look at it, this team is really, really good, and we've drafted well, we developed well, and I think amongst our goals, we've achieved all of them. We did develop and find a new core pillar in this team with with Enrique Perez, which was lucky. I mean, you find a generational talent in the first draft pick. In the first draft, that's going to happen. 145 home runs so far in 5 years and 197 doubles. Just an all-around good player. That's going to help a lot in that process. But I also think that we've drafted well at other positions, and we've developed the guys that we needed to. Bautista is a guy who we developed very, very good. Francisco, I think, will end up being very, very good at first base. You have other guys where we talk about Jarrett Clark could be really interesting. We have Fuentes, who I think could be really interesting. No matter what, I think that all these prospects and these players have a lot of potential. And when you take a look at the pitching staff that we've talked about, we wanted to develop the pitching staff and keep it together. And the problem with keeping it together is not that they weren't good, is that we have so much other talent that we've actually been letting guys walk that are good pitchers. So we got a Cy Young out of Bryce Miller and a runner-up in another year. Bryan Woo led the league in pitching, or in ERA, 4 times. Kirby and Gilbert never really got awards. I mean, Gold Glove there and All-Stars, but they were both really good the entire time. Ryan Sloan was a Rookie of the Year, the second draft pick in 2024. Munoz could have gotten to 500 saves when we talk about it. Kade Anderson, while he wasn't necessarily impressive, he was very important in the 2029 World Series run. And Hancock was better than I expected, and we still have guys coming. Martin Bryan, a potential reliever who we drafted in 2026, would probably be up soon. We have Johnny Hines here, I think I traded for, but Philip Kim, a potential pitcher. Russ Ryder, B potential pitcher who we drafted in 2025. We have another, I think we have Jimmy Wilson, a potential pitcher we drafted in 2027. This team would just be fantastic. It will be fantastic if they were to keep it together. We also had the #1 pitching staff in 2029 when we won it, and I think we had one of the greatest runs ever in 2026. So as we take a look at it, I think that's a good place to stop. That's a great place to look at our lineup and say, hey, we've done a great job at developing this team. The Big Dumper, probably one of the greatest catchers of all time. 378 home runs by the end of his career, not even by the end, at age 34 with 60 WAR. I think like Johnny Bench only has 74 as the best catcher of all time. And that's with 6 Gold Gloves on top of it, and a World Series MVP, 3 champions. This might be the greatest catcher of all time. Julio is starting to look at, would he be one of the greatest center fielders of all time? He already has more MVPs and better performances than Mike Trout. When we take a look at WAR, at his age 30 season, he's at 84 WAR, which is, once again, pretty similar to where Mike Trout is at. I'd say across the board, we've done a great job at developing these guys. I could go a couple more years in the future, but that would probably just make this video 6 hours long. And so we're going to end off here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed us doing and developing this team and the challenges that we put in place, because we really didn't do any free agents besides 1-year deals. We only really drafted talent and developed them. We did a few trades, but we made sure to keep them a little bit more refined. I know the Chandler Simpson deal ended up being really beneficial for us, but they would have done that. They got a top prospect in return. I think he's like the 10th ranked prospect in all of baseball in James Choi, and we got the relievers for the number 1 prospect in all of baseball at the time too. So yeah, this team is going to end up being really good, and I think that that's just a look for them in the future, even without our draft picks. They have talent. They have so much talent. They just need to capitalize, and I'm hoping that they can do so here in 2025 in real life with Eugenio and Josh Naylor. Might not happen, but they still have a lot of room if they decide to keep like Naylor. I think keeping Naylor would be a great decision for them. They still have guys that they can develop too. So that'll be it for me today in this rebuild. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to the channel and make sure that we keep going. We'll probably have a Twins rebuild coming up soon next. And we have more videos in. I'm in a new studio. I'm in a new house. And we'll see what we can do with the new place. As much work as I can put in now that I have internet connection and all that, and ability to make videos again. So thank you and adios.
Go on.